was. And I think back to this. When Gilmore was the best defensive player in the NFL in 2019, the Titans played a playoff game in Foxborough, and Stefan Gilmore shut down A.J. Brown. Last year in the game at Indianapolis, A.J. Brown had his way with Rock Ya-Sin. Remember what I called Rock Ya-Sin?
What did you call him?
Rock Ya-Suck. So, they got rid of him, and they got Yannick Ngakoue. Now, I don't think Ngakoue is as good as, the Raiders got rid of got rid of Ngakoue to get Chandler Jones, because that coaching staff, Josh McDaniels, New England, they were familiar with Jones. And the Colts coaching staff with Gus Bradley, who's now their defensive coordinator, who I don't think is a great defensive coordinator by any means, but he's comfortable with Ngakoue. So they got Ngakoue. They got Matt Ryan, which I think is a huge freaking deal. And now they've got Gilmore. But at the same time, the Colts are not a man-to-man team. And Gus Bradley is not a man-to-man coach. They are the Seattle Seahawks defense, the Legion of Boom defense, which is be physical at the line of scrimmage. But, you kind of give space to receivers. Guys will be open. That Tampa 2, that kind of zone defensive thing. Darrelle Revis tried to do this. He was Revis Island in New York. He went to Tampa Bay where they ran the Tampa 2. He was useless. Then he went to New England where they're man-to-man, which is what Gilmore's used to, where they were man-to-man, and he was back to being Revis. The Titans are man-to-man. And so what the Colts do, that defense is not what Stefan Gilmore does. But maybe at Stefan Gilmore's age, playing more of that zone, being more physical at the line of scrimmage than trying to run with receivers might be better off in general. I certainly think he's better than Rock Ya-Sin because I think Rock Ya-Sin is terrible. But what I'm worried about with the Colts is this. And I'm not sure how much Gilmore really moves the needle. Somebody was talking to me about the Titans the other day. And they said, what do you think about the Titans going corner in the first round of the draft? And I said, I have no use for that. And they're like, what do you mean you have no use for that? I said, I have no use for going corner in the draft. I don't care about corner. Corner doesn't matter to me. I'm fine with what they have now. In Fulton, Farley, if Farley's not there, Buster Screen, Molden, Chris Jackson. I'm fine with that. Tell me who's getting the quarterback. Because if you can get to the quarterback, I don't care who your defensive backs are. You can have average defensive backs if you can get to the quarterback. Well, Indianapolis last year had DeForest Buckner. They let Danico Autry walk in free agency, and I think that was a humongous mistake on their part, especially considering where Danico Autry ended up. And we saw how important Danico Autry was to the Titans. And Danico Autry made a big difference. So they drafted young guys. They drafted Kwity Paye and Deo Odengbo out of Vanderbilt. And I don't think either guy was really all that good last year, but they showed a little bit of promise. So what I'm worried about is I'm worried about the Colts with Buckner, Ngakoue, and if Paye and Odengbo step up on defense, then all of a sudden, they're after your quarterback. Then I think Stefan Gilmore makes a difference. I think Indy, though, went and got Stefan Gilmore specifically for A.J. Brown. I think that they looked at it like, we traded Rock Ya-Sin. They had no experience in the secondary. I think they had 14 starts at corner on the roster.
Oh, my gosh.
So they went out and they got Stefan Gilmore. So they needed to add a DB. And I think they talked themselves into this because they had all the cap space and they don't have a first-round pick. So it's like we sign Gilmore. And even though he's not a first-round pick at this point in his career, he's an impact day one starter, which is what we would have gotten out of the first round. But I think this is specifically for that 2020. It was 2019 season, but it was January of 2020 in which he shut down A.J. Brown in Foxborough. And I think that's why they got him. But I'm not convinced that Gilmore at this point in his career is that big of a difference maker. I'm not sure corner is that important if you don't get to the quarterback. And I'm not sure the Colts play the same style that Gilmore is used to of that man-to-man, I've got the guy, let's roll with it. And we've seen Gilmore against the Titans twice in his prime. The first time was 2018, and Mariota and Corey Davis took him to the cleaners. The next year, he shut down A.J. Brown in Foxborough. I think the Titans completed one pass to A.J. in that game. And I think that's what Indy is banking on. Now, I still think Indy's the favorite in the division because Indianapolis has Matt Ryan. I think there's more certainty at running back right now for Indianapolis, though I think Derrick Henry is the better player than I think Jonathan Taylor is. I think there's more certainty with Jonathan Taylor than there is with Derrick. I think the Titans are probably better at receiver at this point, but it's neck and neck. And I was leaning Colts. And so with this, I'll stay leaning Colts. It's weird. Like if I was leaning the Colts by, 1/10 of a point, maybe it's now 3/10 of a point. Mm-hmm. It's not I'm leaning by the Colts. I was leaning by the Colts by 1/10 of a point. Now it's leaning the Colts by 2 points. It's like 1/10 of a point to 3/10 of a point. I don't think it's that big of a deal. And I do wonder if the addition of Stefan Gilmore at this point is like the addition of Julio Jones for the Titans. The rest of the league wasn't interested, and we saw with Julio that there's a reason why the rest of the league wasn't interested in Julio. Like, I wonder if this is the Julio Jones edition for the Indianapolis Colts. Maybe Matt Ryan is the Julio Jones edition for the Indianapolis Colts. I don't know. But I have been worried about the Colts since they made the trade for Matt Ryan. I mean, I certainly think you're better with your team relying on Gilmore and Yannick Ngakoue than you are relying on two rookies in Kwity Paye and Deo Odangbo and Rock Ya-Sin, who stinks. And so I don't know why the Raiders took Rock Ya-Sin, but they did, but he stinks. And so this is somewhat of an upgrade. I don't know how much it moves the needle. So that's how we're starting today. That's the question. 615-737-1025. Here's the question. How worried are you now about the Indianapolis Colts now that they've gotten Stefan Gilmore? Are they the favorites in the South? 615-737-1025. And one coach will take Indy a step further. We'll get to that coming up. Fireball Hot Take Friday. I love Fireball Cinnamon Whiskey because it goes down so smooth and it tastes so great. There's no better way to ignite the night than to do it with ice-cold Fireball Cinnamon Whiskey. That's right. I absolutely love it. It goes down so smooth and it tastes so great. And that's why I love the weekends, because it's a perfect time to celebrate Fireball Cinnamon Whiskey. I'll be sure to toss one back in honor of Terry Crisp. His weekend is this weekend. That's Fireball Cinnamon Whiskey, night to night. Please do it responsibly. Be 21 years or older to enjoy. That's Fireball Cinnamon Whiskey.
Do you have that one person or thing that just makes you mad? Join us every Friday at noon on the DDC for You Just Made the List. Fueled by Parman Energy. Visit ParmanEnergy.com, your one-stop petroleum solution, and try Star Movie on the DDC on ESPN 1025 The Game.
You just made the list!
Now's the time to get the Kubota Z200 mower. It's built to cut quickly and like a pro, so you can get the zero-turn agility and effortless precision you need to turn your lawn into a work of art. Right now, get the Kubota Z200 mower for 0 down, 0% APR for 36 months, now through June 30th. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
2 locations to serve you, Columbia Kubota or Franklin Kubota. Visit us online at ColumbiaKubota.com or FranklinKubota.com.
What if you could be debt-free in 3 weeks? Hey, Willie Donick here. My friends at Loan Pronto are helping people do it every day. It's Loan Pronto's debt consolidation home refi, wiping out tens of thousands in credit card debt. Listen, your home's value is way up. You can refinance now, take money out to pay off all your credit cards, eliminate PMI charges, pay off personal loans, or other high-interest debt. One local couple had over $50,000 in credit card debt. Loan Pronto did a debt consolidation refi. And even though their mortgage rate went up a tad, they cut their monthly payments by $900. Why pay 20% interest when you can consolidate it to one low payment with a mortgage APR in the 3s? Homeowners who do it save an average of $800 a month. Do it now and even skip your next house payment altogether. That's what I call financial freedom. Call Loan Pronto now. 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780 or loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781, subject to lender approval.
Erectile dysfunction ruins sex, But it's more than that. It harms otherwise good relationships. It destroys marriages. It can cause depression and anxiety, and it can be extremely hard on a man's self-esteem. This is Kim for the Tennessee Men's Clinic. And if you're suffering with ED, if it's affecting you, I want you to know that if you're like most men, we can treat it and get you back to the man you used to be. At the Tennessee Men's Clinic, we're ED experts. Our protocols have success rates as high as 90%. We've successfully treated thousands of men in the Music City, and we have a variety of treatment options and treatment combinations that could have you performing like you haven't in years. You could even last up to an hour and experience great sex again that is satisfying for both you and your partner. In treating your health, expertise matters. So make an appointment today. Your initial appointment is only $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. Call 615-208-9090 or go to TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. Visit our website to learn more, including side effects. Treatments extra. Results vary.
Calling a criminal defense lawyer or a divorce lawyer, you may think it's the worst day of your life. It doesn't have to be. If you have quality, competent representation who can guide you through a complex system, we can do that for you. Despite if you've been arrested for a DUI or a robbery charge, whether or not you're going through a divorce or a post-divorce, or demanding your fundamental constitutional right to parent your children. 615-604-6263. AmandaJGentry.com.
If you've missed any of today's show, just search Stillman and Company on Apple, Spotify, or your favorite podcast platform.
Why isn't he a day one signing, though, or day two, or day three? Is it age? I mean, he's 2 years removed from being the defensive player of the year. I know he dealt with injuries last year in Carolina, and even to some extent the year before that in New England, but he was still a Pro Bowl. Why doesn't this happen sooner for a guy like this?
Well, I think it's age. I think it's injury, and I think that those two things combined that you already brought up, I think are the things that mainly go into the general manager's mind. Is like, what can we get out of him? I don't know exactly what this deal looks like. I know it's been reported as a 2-year deal worth around $23 million from, I think, Adam Schefter. So, but until you see how it's broken down, that could be part of it as well.
There you go. That was Mark Dominic on SiriusXM NFL, former NFL general manager, saying, like, wait a minute, what? The host, Bruce Murray's like, was Stefan Gilmore not a first-day guy? I mean, it's April 15th. I mean, it's the draft. Why was Gilmore not a day one guy? This is Stefan Gilmore we're talking about. And it's saying, age, injuries,
surgeries,
moving around. It's clear the Patriots don't want to keep him because they got rid of him last year. Here's the thing, though, that bothers me as we talk about Stefan Gilmore and the impact that he may make in the AFC. The Titans and the Patriots at Foxborough. This was January of 2020. Stefan Gilmore was in charge of A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown had one catch for 4 yards.
But how much of that is AJ and how much of that is whoever is throwing AJ the football?
Well, here's the thing. Here's who had more yards than AJ that day. Anthony Ferkser, Derrick Henry, Jonnu Smith, Dion Lewis, and Tajay Sharp.
Okay. All right.
Say
less.
The crazy thing about that game, Ryan Tannehill was 8 of 15 for 72 yards, 1 touchdown and a pick, and they won.
That is the crazy thing. Like, if you would have read that stat out to me, I would have said the Titans would have gotten their butts kicked 35-0.
They won. They won the game because they had, I believe, 2 goal line stands that they held the Patriots to field goals. Julian Edelman dropped a ball in the fourth quarter that just hit him right in the shoulder. The Patriots had no good offensive players. Derrick Henry ran for 182 yards, which is ridiculous in and of itself. That's why the Titans won. And then they ended up winning this game by 7, but that was because they had a pick 6 at the end of the game they were up by 1 when Brett Kern put the ball down with like 18 seconds to go at the 1-yard line, and then Brady threw an interception. But Gilmore was all over Brown. That was a bubble screen they threw to Brown. They were trying to get him the ball, seeing if he could shake off Gilmore, and he couldn't. Now, Floyd brought up a great point when we were watching like the game tape of this game during the COVID lockdowns at my house. Mm-hmm. Like we were just sitting up there watching the game during commercials, and he said to me that he thinks Belichick was so worried about how Mariota and Davis went after Gilmore that Bill was determined in the playoff game to not let the Titans throw the ball over their heads So that's why Derrick Henry was able to run for 182 yards. And when you're the Titans and Derrick Henry's going to run for 182 yards, you're not even trying to throw the ball.
Right.
You are
Why would
saying,
you?
hey, just dine it up in there with the big dog. And that's what they did. But I believe Indianapolis is doing this for two reasons. I think the first reason is a bigger thing, which is because the owner is telling them that they have to win. Mm-hmm. Chris Ballard has sat on his cap space for forever. And I think if it was up to Chris Ballard and Frank Reich, they would have kept Carson Wentz. They would have sat on their cap space. They would have drafted players, made some trades, whatever, but they wouldn't have been this aggressive. I think the owner has said, hey, you guys need to win. The local media and the national media praises Ballard and Reich all the time, and the owner, I think, bought into it until last year, and now I think he's telling them they need to win. And they got all this cap space, and what good does your cap space that you've built up over all these years do you if you get fired? It doesn't do you any good. So I think that's why they're going out there and they trade for Ngakoue and they sign, Gilmore. And I think that's the number one reason they did it. I think the number two reason is because he shut down AJ in a playoff game 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. I mean, he shut down AJ. And if you're the Indianapolis Colts, you don't need to be worried about Derrick Henry in the run game because you've got DeForest Buckner and Darius Leonard. If Derrick runs all over you, you had your best going after Derrick. If AJ dominates you like he did in the game up there that won the Titans the division essentially, you're screwed. So this is like, we can sign this guy. It doesn't cost us any draft picks. We've got a bunch of money. We're doing this to shut down A.J. Brown.
The question still remains, is that the same Stefan Gilmore that we saw in 2018?
And see, I don't think it is the same Stefan Gilmore as I don't think it's that Stefan Gilmore.
I mean, it's 3 years and a surgery or maybe 2 surgeries?
But they don't play man-to-man.
Yeah.
So they're asking him to do less. Mm-hmm. Every time Richard Sherman plays this same style. All of the Pete Carrolls, the Tampa Bays, they play this style. And this style is to jam at the line of scrimmage and then play off. And so every time Richard Sherman was a free agent, because it was a name and a corner and he was an all-pro and people be like, should the Titans get Richard Sherman? And it's like, no, because the Titans need man-to-man corners because that's what the Titans do. Is the Titans match up man-to-man. Christian Fulton matches up with his man, and that's how he plays. You get one of these Tampa 2 guys out there, they can't cover these guys. You watch, I think it was, I want to say it was last year in a playoff game, and they went right at Richard Sherman every time because he couldn't cover I think it was Kansas City or somebody went right at Richard Sherman. It was the Super Bowl 2 years ago, and they went right at Richard Sherman. Because Richard Sherman can't run with those guys from Kansas City. He never could. Mm-hmm. Now, he could hit them, but it doesn't matter if you're trying to man-for-man those guys. So that is kind of the way that I look at the Gilmore thing. It kind of feels like a round peg, kind of.
Square hole?
Yeah. Or was it square peg for a round hole?
Whatever
I can't remember.
Is.
Whatever. It doesn't feel like it exactly fits, but he did shut AJ down, and there is that. Again, I thought Indianapolis was a slight favorite before this. I still think they're a slight favorite.
More of a slight favorite?
Tiny bit of more of a slight favorite. Mm-hmm. But I'm not taking it from slight to clear. Like, they're slight favorite.
In that same breath, how much are they going to ask Matt Ryan to throw the ball?
Well, that's a different discussion.
Yeah.
Because that doesn't really have anything to do with Stefan Gilmore, but you are right. That's the big question. And Matt Ryan has had an elite passing game or an elite running game twice in his career, and have been the 2 best years of his career. And I can't get over that stat. Let's go to your phone. 615-737-1025. Does the Gilmore move from Indianapolis make them the favorite? Adam in Portland's going to kick us off on a Fireball Hot Take Friday. Phone lines are driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Adam, go ahead.
Hey, man. Yeah, so 2 things. Number one, no, it doesn't make them favorites. You need to stop talking about Baltimore. Yeah, or stop talking about the Patriots game because Baltimore also shut them down, and Indianapolis.
Baltimore didn't shut A.J. down. A.J. was the only one who showed up.
No, Tannehill still passed for 90 yards against.
You're talking about the next Baltimore. I thought you were talking about the one they lost.
Yeah, no. A lot of people have shut AJ down. Anyway, that's not what I was calling about. So I follow you really hard on social media, and I saw the dudes that were going crazy about something you said about soccer. Man, I think that's so stupid. being somebody who's listened to a ton of your shows, and I've been mad at you at least 1,000 times, and plenty of times I'm like, I'm never listening to this guy again. I would never say that about soccer. That's so stupid. Like, I don't even think I've ever met a soccer fan, to be honest with you. And so for somebody in Nashville to get that upset about soccer is just stupid. So I just say just ignore that guy.
Thank you for your call, Adam. I will say this. I did hear it from the soccer people a lot last night, the soccer fans. They're mad at me, boy.
All
No, don't do that. Don't do that.
I know. But it goes back to my point that it doesn't matter the number of fans that you have, but understanding that the number of fans that you have probably does not equate to the number of fans that maybe the Titans have.
I will say this. What I said yesterday is available for podcast. You can listen to it. It's up on my Twitter. We will address this later in the show today. It is one of the topics that we have planned to discuss. But the overlying sentiment of yesterday, all of it, I'm not sorry. So, like, if there's people that, like, want me to be like, yesterday I was too hard on soccer. You can think that, but I'm not sorry. But that was yesterday's topic. Today's topic is the Colts. What do we have in the text line? 615-737-1025.
One extra text in and says, why is Jared talking about the Colts cap space when the cap doesn't exist?
Because the Colts have added all this cap space over all these years and sat on it like this was some treasure trove of funds that they were eventually going to use, and they've never used them. I think the Colts are a perfect example of how the cap doesn't matter. Every freaking year, Ian, how many years have we done this where we've talked about Indianapolis' cap space?
Feels like at least 3.
I mean, holy crap. It's like every year. It's like going into free agency, who has the most cap space? The Colts. Okay, who are the Colts going to get? Nobody. And I think the Colts have just kept adding up all this money to one day, like, go spend big, and they never have. And now they're realizing if they don't spend, they're going to get fired, so they might as well spend.
And they're even not really spending that much now either.
I was talking to Gentry Estes last night. We were talking about the Titans offense. Do you know how many guys in the Titans offense they could work out a new contract with? They could just redo their contract, and they could easily create $35 million in cap space. Maybe $40-50 million in cap space just by redoing the deals of Derrick Henry, Ryan Tannehill, Taylor Lewan, and Robert Woods.
Oh, my gosh.
Like, they could redo their entire – like, they could add so much cap space by redoing those deals. But they're not because cap's fake. 615-737-1025 is our phone number, 615-737-1025. The bigger question is about Matt Ryan with the Colts. I mean, Gilmore is a good addition, but one coach, what they said about Matt Ryan, I was kind of shocked by. We'll get to that coming up next. 615-737-1025. FanDuel Sportsbook is my official sportsbook app. In the NBA play-in tournament, there are no sure things except one. Bet at least $20 on a same-game parlay on FanDuel Sportsbook, and you'll get an instant bonus, win or lose. That's right. Not only do you get to enjoy the NBA's best duking it out for the right to advance in the playoffs, but FanDuel is giving customers a bonus for getting in on the action. Oh, and the more you bet, the bigger the bonus you get. So tomorrow, you got the Grizzlies. And then on Sunday, I think you got a great game, Boston and Brooklyn. I mean, that is probably the matchup of the first round to watch. All the other matchups kind of bore me, but Boston and Brooklyn, that might be a war. FanDuel is an official partner of the NBA. Their app is safe and easy to use, and you'll get your winnings fast. New to FanDuel Sportsbook, sign up with the promo code JGM to make every moment more. So don't just watch the NBA play-in tournament. Be a part of it and bet at least $20 in same-game parlays and get an instant bonus, win or lose. 21 and older and present in Tennessee. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable site credit and free bets that expire in 7 days. Max bonus $100. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line, 1-800-889-9789.
Hey, I'm Ryan Johansson, and this is Smashville.
Back to Johansson, and Johansson tips it in with one hand on the stick.
You're listening to the flagship of the Nashville Predators radio network, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Nothing makes one feel better than the ability to give to someone in need. You have the power to give the most important gift of all, the gift of life, with a donation of your blood. Supplies are desperately low in our area, and your help is needed. Blood Assurance is a nonprofit community blood center that supplies our Middle Tennessee area hospitals. Please find it in your heart to donate. Be someone's hero today. Go to bloodassurance.org to find a location or blood drive near you. That's bloodassurance.org. Give blood, give local, save lives with Blood Assurance.
Pro Golf is back in Middle Tennessee. Mark your calendars for the Simmons Bank Open, May 5th through 8th. You can see the next wave of PGA Tour stars. Be sure to visit the Sand Trap at the 14th hole and check out great local food trucks, including Hattie B's, Hogwood Barbecue, Dream Burger, Padrino Pops, cocktails from Jack Daniels, and try the Sand Trap Cream Ale from New Heights Brewing Company. Purchase your tickets now at SimmonsBankOpen.com.
Hey everybody, it's me, Chase McCabe, and I'm so excited to be talking about my go-to drink when I'm out and about, Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. Screwball is the first and most awarded peanut butter whiskey in the world. It's an original, just like me, the suit. I take Screwball as a shot, but it's great on the rocks, in an old-fashioned, an espresso martini, and many more. So next time you're out and about, ask for Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2022, Screwball Spirits, LLC, San Diego, California. Whiskey with natural flavors, 35% alcohol by volume.
The Ainsworth Nashville has been bringing a sophisticated twist to the classic All-American Sports Bar, restaurant, and private event experience in Midtown since 2018. Our multi-purpose venue consists of a full-scale restaurant, bar and lounge, and event space. Come for the wings, stay for our happy hour, and visit us for brunch on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. We've got the good times to keep you singing all night long. The Ainsworth Nashville. Burgers, cocktails, sports.
Visit the Ainsworth at 206 21st Avenue South in Nashville or online at theainsworth.com.
Play ball! Mr. White hit high in the air. Deep left field. On the track. At the wall. It's gone!
The Nashville Sounds are on the road as they take on the Gwinnett Stripers.
Swing and a strike three, and the Sounds win.
Coverage begins at 5:50 on your home for the Sounds.
ESPN
94.9 and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, this is John Hines, and you're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 1025 The Game.
This week's Nashville's best deal is 312 Pizza Company. 312 Pizza Company serves the best pizza in town as well as Chicago-style eats like Chicago dogs, Italian beef sandwiches, and more. Head to theGameNashville.com/deals to get half off a $30 gift card to 312 Pizza Company while supplies last. The Indianapolis Colts have added Stefan Gilmore. Boy, Pat McAfee was fired up today that they got Stefan Gilmore. And Caroline thinks he's a top 10 defensive back in the NFL.
Well, do we want to make a list?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, who's the best defensive back in the NFL?
Diggs, Trayvon Diggs, or...
I don't know, he gets burned a lot.
Trey White, or...
That sounds about right.
Jalen
Honey
Ramsey.
Badger, I
Definitely
would say.
not Honey Badger. Nobody wants to sign Honey
He's
Badger.
washed. Xavier Howard.
So, I mean, J.C. Jackson
is
Mr. INT, but I don't think J.C. Jackson's team didn't even want to franchise tag him. So, I'll tell you, I think what's crazy is how, positions
Marlon Humphrey.
Yeah, but didn't he get hurt?
Did he?
Yeah. What's crazy about the NFL is how, all those DBs for the Bengals last year that intercepted the Titans, they're all
not,
just
elite
guys.
corners.
Jesse Bates got franchised as a safety.
Oh, Jalen Ramsey, duh.
Oh, yeah, Jalen Ramsey's pretty good. But, corner just doesn't matter to me as much anymore. Because to me, it's about the pass rush. It is not about the corner. And I'll give you an example. The Titans. In 2008, pull up while I'm telling the story, the 2008 Titans Pro Bowlers. I believe the Titans sent 3 players out of their secondary to the Pro Bowl. I believe they sent Cortland Finnegan, Michael Griffin, and Chris Hope all to the Pro Bowl that year. And they had one of the best secondaries in the league. But the reason they had one of the best secondaries in the league was because they had Albert Hainsworth and Kyle Vanden Bosch rushing the passer. The next year, Hainsworth signs in Washington, Vanden Bosch gets hurt, and they had the exact same secondary, and all those guys were terrible. And I like Michael Griffin, but Michael Griffin was a terrible player. For all those years he was on the Titans. But that year, he led the NFL in interceptions. So I'm convinced that as long as you have an average secondary, your pass rush makes your secondary. And that's all that matters. That's all that matters. So I'm not a huge fan, personally, of the secondary. I care more about the pass rush. By the way, an NFL agent just texted me, Caroline is dead to me.
What? What did I do?
I don't know.
Sorry.
I don't know. Dead.
Did I miss someone on my list?
I don't know. I don't know.
Well, geez, short leash there.
I'm just saying.
Well, T's and P's to the agent.
I know, right? So Charlie Weiss was on SiriusXM, and they were asking about which quarterback that is changing places in the NFL is going to make the biggest impact. And this is what the coach, Charlie Weiss, said.
Who's going to have the biggest impact on their new team?
Well, I think it's Matt Ryan.
So the answer's not a slam dunk.
Yeah, I think it's Matt Ryan, contrary to what everyone else thinks. Because I think that Indianapolis was a team last year that I thought they could compete last year.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that the thing that held them back was the quarterback. That's
my
what I
answer
felt.
would be Russell Wilson. So
I understand that, and that's a big upgrade at the position with a bunch of good skill guys around him. I get why you say that. It's the answer that everyone's going to give. Okay, I think that Matt Ryan's going to have just as big an impact on the Colts as Russell Wilson does on the Broncos. And I mean, he might be the difference between winning and losing the division.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if Russell Wilson's going to be the difference between winning and losing the division.
And you know what I thought about when I heard that? Because I do agree with Charlie Weiss, and I've told you the Matt Ryan thing was a big deal to me. Like, I know a lot of people. We took texts and we took texts and we took calls and everything. I think you were on vacation when Matt Ryan signed with the Colts.
Monday I was on vacation.
But I was like, yo, like this is bad. And Titans fans were like, I don't know. I think Matt Ryan's kind of washed up. He's old. And I'm like, I don't know, man. I thought Wentz was a loser. I think Ryan's a winner. And I think, Matt Ryan's going to have a run game in Indianapolis. The expectations are going to be set. He's going to be able to help the goofball coach out, though I do worry about Matt Ryan's goofball tendencies, when the games are on the line. Not off the field goofball, but on the field goofball. Like, that would bother me a little bit. But I think, like, the Stefan Gilmore signing for Indianapolis, that's a TV move to me. Like Julio Jones to the Titans.
Yes.
Yeah, TV.
But I don't think that, although I know what you mean in that comparison, I don't think that the Stefan Gilmore signing will elicit the same, response or whatever we got from Julio Jones. I don't think will be the same.
You don't
thing
think this
Colts
will
get from
sway
Stefan
the
Gilmore.
AFC South betting markets in favor of the Colts?
I do.
Because I think they were dead even.
I do think that it will
coming into
influence
today.
the betting markets. Yes.
So it is having now the people were talking about the Titans as Super Bowl contenders because they.
But
got
I mean,
Julio
like
Jones.
actual results, not.
So
betting.
you don't think that Stefan won't matter like Julio didn't matter?
Correct.
See, I think there's a chance Stefan doesn't matter. Like, I'm not sold that Gilmore will matter for Indianapolis. But I am a little bit worried. Like, I think Russell Wilson, like when Denver didn't get Aaron Rodgers, their plan B was Russell. And we all know that Aaron is much better than Russell. Like, I don't think there's a question for that. I don't think Denver is the best team in that division because they got Russell. In fact, they still may finish fourth. There's no guarantee.
Well, Denver just has more work to do other than the quarterback.
Well, and Russell, but if they got Aaron, they'd be the favorite in the division for me.
Oh, for sure.
But Russell wasn't winning in Seattle. So here comes Russell, and the Colin Cowherds of the world are like, Denver's a contender. And maybe they are. I'm not saying they're not. I don't think they are.
But also the coach aspect of it as well.
Well, we don't know anything about their coach.
We don't know anything about what Nathaniel Hackett can do.
But I
plays
think this
in Green
guy's a
Bay.
goofball in Indianapolis. I think the biggest advantage the Titans have on Indianapolis is coach. I mean, there's no, for me, I think that's. But I say this because the football guys, like Mike Sando talked to those unnamed NFL executives, and they were kind of dogging the Russell Wilson trade. Like, you gave up all this, but does it make you that much better? Like, you clearly didn't want him. You wanted the other guy. And then in the Sando piece, they were talking about Indianapolis, and there was kind of a mixed review. One guy thinks Matt Ryan's kind of done. Mm-hmm. The other guy thought Matt Ryan's like, you can't look at me and tell me that he's not going to make them a better team. And Charlie Weiss, football guy, not a TV guy. I listen to Charlie Weiss do radio. Charlie Weiss doesn't need to be leading the show. Charlie Weiss needs to be working with me, and it needs to be like Jared and the GM, where it's like the radio guy does the radio, and then the coach, general manager guy does the coach, general manager stuff.
Uh-huh.
But, like, he's a football guy. He's a Belichick guy. He's a, the no-nonsense, whatever. And, I think the football guys look at Matt Ryan and they think that's a real move for a real team that can make that team better. They look at Russell Wilson and they're like, they were 4th in the division when they made that move. Now they're maybe 3rd. And that bothers me.
And it's a flashy move. It's a big-time name that people like. Russell Wilson, one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And I do think that Matt Ryan, I guess the public perception of Matt Ryan, doesn't do him justice.
Well, I think it's so torn.
Yeah.
It's like you got 2016 over here where he was unstoppable league MVP. They were up 28-3 in the Super Bowl. And then you have all the losing Atlanta has done since then. Mm-hmm. And I think there's a lot of reasons to say it's not Matt Ryan's fault. I think there's a lot of reasons to say, look, he's the freaking quarterback. He was making all that money.
So it's got to be partly his fault. Yeah.
I mean, I see both sides of the Ryan thing. I just think he's not going to be asked to carry the team in Indianapolis. And they're going to run the football, and they got an easier schedule than the Titans, and they've got Yannick Ngakoue, and their pass rushers that were rookies last year will be in their second year, including Odengbo from Vanderbilt, who tore his Achilles, so he was working through that last year. Now he's back. But again, I still think that guy's a goofball. Frank Reich. That coach to me that's the one place where that's the one place where I still feel good about the Titans. Mm-hmm. But I'm with Charlie Weiss, man. I'm worried about Matt Ryan over there in Indy. What do we have in the text line? 615-737-1025.
Matthew from Jolton texts in and says, Indy just keeps getting washed players. I respect them because of Leonard, Buckner, and Taylor, but they won't be able to get to the playoffs.
I mean, all they got to do is beat the Titans. Unless Trevor Lawrence pops, all they have to do is beat the Titans. And they have an easier schedule than the Titans. Mm-hmm. I need people to get their heads out of their butts. Don't think about the AFC. Think about the Titans and the Colts, and give the Colts an advantage with the schedule, because where you have to go to Green Bay and go to Buffalo, they get to play. Is it Green Bay or is it Kansas City? Is it Buffalo or Kansas City? I think it's Buffalo. You have to go to Green Bay, you have to go to Buffalo, and you host Cincinnati. They host Pittsburgh, they go to Minnesota, and I believe they go to New England. So I'd rather take those 3 teams than the 3 teams. I mean, you're talking about Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, and Aaron Rodgers. You got those 3 guys. They don't. That's a big – they got Mitch Trubisky and Mac Jones. To me, that's a big difference. So you got to give a slight edge to Indianapolis. And so if you respect those guys, then you should say, hey, Indy's going to have a team that could be able to compete with the Titans. That's all I'm saying on that one. 615-737-1025. We'll get back into your phone. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. Hey, stop by Social Furniture at 5412 Charlotte Avenue in Nashville now and enter for a chance to win a pair of tickets to see the Predators take on the Chicago Blackhawks tomorrow at Bridgestone Arena. Also, don't forget to check out their sofas while you're there. Must be 18 to enter the contest. No purchase is necessary. Stillman and Company. It's Fireball Hot Take Friday. It's ESPN 1025 The Game.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 News Code Red meteorologist Dan Guthrie. Cloudy skies for us this afternoon and evening. High temperature up to 75 degrees. Storms will roll in tonight, mainly after 10 p.m.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Calling a criminal defense lawyer or a divorce lawyer, you may think it's the worst day of your life. It doesn't have to be. If you have quality, competent representation who can guide you through a complex system, we can do that for you. Despite if you've been arrested for a DUI or a robbery charge, whether or not you're going through a divorce or a post-divorce, or demanding your fundamental constitutional right to parent your children. 615-604-6263. AmandaJGentry.com.
Genesis Diamond's spectacular spring extravaganza is coming April 22nd through 24th. 3 incredible days of store-wide savings. Up to 35% off engagement rings, earrings, bracelets, wedding bands, plus special financing. Even Genesis GIA certified diamonds are marked down. Plus, top jewelry designers are flying in with all new amazing designs. If you're popping the question soon or just looking for some new sparkle, you can't miss this annual event. Save up to $10,000 on some items. It's April 22nd through 24th and only at Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. See store for details.
Music City. Start a profitable new chapter of your life and be your own boss with your very own Little Guys Movers franchise. In fact, no matter where you are, from Green Hills to the Gulch to down in Franklin, if you can hear my voice, there's an affordable, profitable Little Guys franchise opportunity nearby. Use your existing 401k to invest in yourself. Financing options are available. Join a team with 30 plus years of growth and good times. Learn more at littleguysfranchise.com. That's littleguysfranchise.com. And then make that call.
Smokeville Smoke Shop has been serving Hendersonville and Metro Nashville since 2015 and is committed to providing high-quality, hands-on, and personable customer service. Stop into Smokeville Smoke Shops in Hendersonville, Gallatin, Hermitage, and Goodlettsville to try any of their wide selection of locally sourced products and selection of top nationwide brands, including vapes, hookah, hand-blown glass, detox systems, e-juices, kratom products, leaf wraps, and much more. Visit Smokeville Smoke Shops today.
Floyd Mayweather launched Mayweather Boxing and Fitness when he officially retired as a 50-0 champion. Introducing the first Mayweather Boxing and Fitness location in Nashville. Perfect for all fitness levels. Join a community that will help every person unleash their inner champ. Become a founding member today. Stop by the studio at 2041 Broadway, Suite C, or call 629-206-9092 to join the family exclusive. Pre-opening rates now available. Mayweather Boxing and Fitness, the gold standard in boxing fitness.
Machine journalism.
They are 2 scores behind you. The math says that increases your chances of winning.
With sports fandom.
I stayed up till 1:30 in the morning, just emotionally numb from Titans and Packers.
And sarcasm.
You guys are the worst.
Robby Stanley and Joe Rexrode are Robby and Rexrode. No duh. Weekday mornings from 6 to 10. Brought to you by Little Guys Movers on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Watch live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube.
This is Stillman and Company, delivered by TriStar Moving.
Jim Irsay was on the thing with a guitar. Brother, welcome to the Colts. They fly out here. How locked was this in before the plane gets there, and what all happened in the visit to Indianapolis that got this finished and the deal done?
Yeah, see, what's weird in these sort of veteran situations, especially as you get further away from, really the crux of free agency, these visits are meaningful. And, for some of the lower guys, they want to go visit and they want to go talk to the coach. Like, if you're Stefan Gilmore and you take a visit somewhere, like say to the Indianapolis Colts, there is a pretty good chance you're signing, right? Because you know that there's a deal good enough that if you're going to go on a plane, even a private plane, that you're probably going to take the deal. So to me, what this sounded like was the Colts saying, all right, we're going to offer enough to where it's going to be worth your while. Come visit. If you like it, probably sign. So, I would say when it came out that he was visiting, I was pretty sure that he was signing. This was his best offer. I know there's some other teams interested. Panthers had some interest. The Eagles had some interest. But to me, this was always about your Colts.
There you go. That was Ian Rappaport on the Pat McAfee Show. By the way, I love the Indianapolis media. Never quit Indianapolis. And I always give them a hard time, and I don't think they like me very much, but that's okay. So Stephen Holder, he's one of Joe Rexrode's buddies at The Athletic. Stephen Holder tweets out and goes, this was 5 hours ago after the Colts got Stefan Gilmore. Some of us writers have been getting heat for going soft on Chris Ballard. Well, man... Well, first of all, let's just talk about how they've been getting heat for going soft on Chris Ballard. They have.
I feel like that's pretty deserved.
We've talked about that for a long time. I mean, they went soft on Carson Wentz. They went soft on Frank Reich. I mean, but okay. Said, well, this man, ... Number one, dumped Carson Wentz for 2/3, correcting his own mistake. Got Matt Ryan for 1/3 round pick, which, by the way, was total luck. If Atlanta hadn't been so stupid to get into the Deshaun sweepstakes.
And they had no choice but to part ways with Matt Ryan.
Oh, Matt Ryan didn't want to be there.
Because of the way that they played the Deshaun Watson situation so loosely.
He didn't want to be there.
No. And I wouldn't want to either.
I'm with Matt Ryan. But they were the benefactors of waiting for, they were just waiting for an opportunity, and they knew at the end of the day that if they had to figure something out, they would have done it. But I think they knew in their hearts that at the end of the day, if they needed to go get Jimmy, they could have gotten Jimmy. But they were going to wait to see if something shook from the tree that was better than Jimmy, and it did. flipped Rock Ya-Sin for a proven edge. I will give them that because Rock Ya-Sin sucked. And then replaced Rock Ya-Sin with a former Defensive Player of the Year. Look at Chris Ballard go. Yes, yes, yes. I saw somebody, Zach Kiefer, wrote in The Athletic that he talked to a source close to the Colts. And Kiefer's got good sources. Like, I give Kiefer a hard time because I think he's a homer. But
isn't he the president of the Indianapolis Colts loving Chris Ballard?
He was the president of the Carson Wentz fan club until he was the president of reporting dirt on Carson Wentz.
Okay.
It's a very quick turn
life
right
comes
there.
at you very fast.
So Zach Kiefer reported in The Athletic that I guess a source close to the Colts said that this was a DeForest Buckner-like move to get Stefan Gilmore. I'm like, DeForest Buckner cost them a first-round pick and a record contract. Stefan Gilmore was for $14 million guaranteed.
Well, he said that because he wants everyone to think that it's a DeForest Buckner-like signing.
No, I think Irsay thinks.
He believes that?
I think Irsay believes that. Like, I think Irsay. Irsay doesn't have to think things. I mean, Irsay's the owner. He'd do whatever he wants.
He can do whatever he wants.
And Irsay's kind of a kook. So, you know.
I guess that would check out. I would disagree, but I don't own a football team, so what do I know?
Fireball Hot Take Friday. Lance is up next. Go ahead. Thank you for calling. Go ahead, Lance.
How you doing, Jared? Well, I think that Colts were better than the Titans before they ever got this, and I don't know if this really makes that big a difference because the Colts are better than the Titans with quarterback, offensive line, their linebackers. The defensive lines are probably on par. I think the Titans are probably better at running back, but if you put Derrick Henry and put it behind their line, ain't no telling how far he would run. The receivers probably somewhat equal.
Titans.
And then the defensive backs, I don't know about them. And
what about coach?
I really don't know about the kickers.
What about coach?
The coach is the best. The Titans have the best coach. Frank Reich, he's a fourth down idiot.
Oh, he's such an idiot. Thank you for your call, Lance. He's such an idiot.
There are so many fourth down idiots in the league, and it drives
me
insane.
He's an idiot. You know, like the Carson Wentz thing, the fourth down thing, the speech on Hard Knocks thing.
I mean, the Carson Wentz thing should be enough. That should be the only sample size that you need to show him that he is just bad moves all the way around.
Oh, I don't think there's any doubt that Irsay was kicking him and Ballard in the ass on the Carson Wentz thing.
Yeah.
I mean, he was furious about that.
Rightfully so.
Now, I will say this. Like, you have to rank. Like, when you sit there, I used to always get into this. Jim Wyatt used to always do this in the paper when I was a kid, and I used to always, like, run to the paper on a Sunday to see what it was. And it would say, who's got the edge? And it would be like, when the Titans have the ball, you know, offensive line, defensive line, check Titans or check other team or whatever. And I used to always get into that. Well, it doesn't, like, really matter. Okay, who has better defensive backs, the Titans or the Colts? I don't care. Like, where you rank it is that quarterback is more important than, say, you know, kickers.
Mm-hmm.
I will say this. I think Indianapolis' offensive line is overrated. I think the Titans' offensive line is overrated. I think the Titans' defensive line is better than Indy's defensive line. I think that Derrick Henry and Jonathan Taylor are a wash. Taylor's probably more certain because he's not coming off of an injury. Henry's a better player. I think quarterback, I go edge Matt Ryan because I'm pissed at Tannehill. But I think coach is a tremendous edge for the Titans. And I think coach is more important on a lot of levels than some of the other things that we're talking about here. Like, that's the one thing that I will not cede to Indianapolis when talking about the Titans and the Colts is coach. You know, coach, the Titans clearly have a better coach. And I do wonder, the way that hiring cycle played out, I do wonder if Robinson got word in Foxborough that McDaniels was going to turn the Colts away, whether it was from Kraft, whether it was from McDaniels himself, whether it was from whomever, if Robinson got word that he was going to do that to the Colts, and that was why he fired Malarkey and then went and got Vrabel because he was afraid. You know, Vrabel was the runner-up to McDaniels for the Colts job in 2018, and so it's like, you know, right now, Indy thinks they have Josh McDaniels, but they really don't. And then when McDaniels turns away, they're going to go hire Vrabel, and I don't want them to hire Vrabel because I think Vrabel's a good coach. So let me go out of my way to go get Vrabel so they can't get Vrabel. I've always wondered that in the back of my mind. I remember we were out some random bar in East Nashville the day that all that McDaniel stuff broke. And my 2 o'clock topic was, I want to know what John Robinson knew and when he knew it. And Floyd laughed. Oh, my God, did he laugh. But maybe there was a hint of truth there. Who knows? What do we have in our text line?
One texter texts in to the text line and says, I'm still not convinced that Matt Ryan is a good enough quarterback to lead his team.
So this is like a very polarizing issue that people are not emotionally connected to.
And to be completely honest with you, I really don't know what Matt Ryan is. I mean, he's had great seasons. He's been able to carry a team, but is he too old? Is he getting Atlanta a good thing for him?
Here's why I think people have a hard time evaluating Matt Ryan, which is also why I think people have a hard time evaluating Tannehill. They don't watch.
Probably fair, yeah.
How many
amount of
games did you watch
games
this past year?
When they played the Saints, so 2.
Okay,
yeah.
I mean, they played a Thursday night game against New England that I didn't watch because I was working on a project. But, I just kept looking up, and they just kept getting their ass spanked, It was just right on the bottom. Is that Matt's fault? I mean, we look at quarterbacks, and we're like, hey, Brady leads his team,
But that's easy.
But then Jimmy Garoppolo, we watch enough of Jimmy to know Jimmy's not very good.
But everyone loves Jimmy.
I was thinking about this with the Kyler Murray drama because Kyler's all mad. Kyler wants his money and, whatever. Mm-hmm. And it's like Arizona's in a tough spot because Kyler wants to be treated like he's Rodgers, Brady, Burrow, Watson.
He wants to be the franchise quarterback.
Right.
And he's not there yet.
So what does Arizona do? It's easy if you've got Joe Burrow.
Oh, yeah.
And it's easy if you've got Daniel Jones. It's easy.
You know your future.
You know Daniel Jones. You're not giving a $240 million contract.
No. And whatever Joe Burrow wants, he's going to
You're going to give Joe Burrow $50 million a season. It's Kyler. It's Cousins. It's Carr. Mm-hmm. It's Tannehill. It's all Matt Ryan. Now, Matt Ryan's different because he's old. But it's all these guys. You don't know. Mm-hmm. And so it's funny because, I nobody is emotionally connected to arguing for or against Matt Ryan. And yet, it's very polarizing. Some people think this is the move that's going to save the Colts. Some people think he's washed in an old bum.
And a lot of people think it's just one of those Phillip Rivers types of moves where not that it's a great thing or a terrible thing. It's just patching up the quarterback position until you can find your long-term solution at quarterback.
Oh, there's no kneeling for the anthem. There's a lot of emotional connection to.
Oh, yeah.
There's really no emotional connection to Matt Ryan. Well, it's pretty 50-50 on how people feel about him. 615-737-1025 is our phone number, 615-737-1025. The Predators were bad last night against Edmonton, although I wasn't surprised by it. But we got to talk about John Hines after the game last night. We got to talk about this, and we'll do that next. Caroline wants to tell you about Caesars Sportsbook.
Yes, I do. It is time for the Caesars Sportsbook report. Now, Caesars Sportsbook is giving a feast to new users just in time for the holiday weekend. By feast, I mean a $250 Uber Eats gift card. So here is how it works. All you got to do, download the Caesars Sportsbook app and bet $50 for your first bet, and win or lose, you'll get a $250 digital gift card for Uber Eats. Make sure you use promo code RADIOEAT, one word, Radio Eat, and you'll get that $250 gift card. Now, we've got NBA playoffs coming up, but if you want to put some money on NFL futures, we're talking so much about the Titans and the Colts, who has the betting edge here, which is the better team come the 2022 season. But looking at Caesars Sportsbook, the Colts and the Titans have even the exact same odds for both for all three: division, conference, and Super Bowl. Plus 115, plus 1,300, and plus 2,500 respectively. So sportsbooks are looking at the Titans and the Colts pretty evenly, and I really don't know if I disagree. Make sure you are 21 and physically present in Tennessee. New customers with eligible promo code only. Real money wagers only that have minimum odds of minus 200. $250 gift card redemption code and Steps Redeem gift card will be sent via email within 72 hours. Uber gift card terms and conditions apply. See Caesars.com/promos for full terms. Void where prohibited. Gambling problem? Call or text the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789. Caesars Sportsbook. Download it, people.
Take us wherever you may go.
There is going to be a whole lot of work going on.
Shoot us in anywhere, anytime.
I think he has some big play in him.
Just search The Game Nashville in your app store and download today. And keep it locked on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Tune in to ESPN 1025 The Game every Tuesday afternoon at 4:30 for ESPN's Trevor Maddich joining me, Jared Stillman, on Stillman & Company as we dive deep into the college football world and all the latest from the SEC. It's all brought to you by Houston Clinic Orthopedics, when experience matters.
Since their doors opened in 1898 in England, Arkansas, Bank of England Mortgage has been providing down-home exceptional service. Bank of England's success is due to the talent of their loan officers and their access to hundreds of mortgage products at the industry's best pricing. Bank of England Mortgage has 3 Middle Tennessee locations ready to serve you. Go to BOE1214.com or call 615-823-1215. Bank of England Mortgage is a division of Bank of England Mortgage. Equal housing lender, member FDIC, NMLS 418-481.
This is Stan Harrison, CEO of Apple Collision Centers. We understand that no one likes to deal with auto body repair and the inconvenience it becomes in your day-to-day life. I want to personally invite you to stop by and let our experienced staff see how we can help you make your vehicle look good as new. Apple Collision Center has 3 convenient locations: Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin, ready to serve you. Come by and see us or visit us online at applecollisioncenters.com.
Signs First is the official sign company for 1025 The Game. Go to sfnash.com.
With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, banking with Capital One is the easiest decision in the history of decisions. Even easier than choosing Charles Barkley in a pickup game.
We'll take Barkley.
Ha! First pick! Sorry, kids! Yep, even easier than that. With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, is it even a decision?
Okay, here's the plan. Pass me the ball every time.
This is banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One and a member FDIC.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne, broadcasting 97.5 Murfreesboro, 106.3 Williamson County,
ESPN
1025 The Game, and the Game Nashville app.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Live from the Game Nashville studios, it's Stillman and Company. Delivered by TriStar Moving. TriStar Movers with 5-star service. With Jared Stillman on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Stillman & Company is delivered by TriStar Moving, ESPN 1025. The game should be live on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook Live. Thanks to the law offices of Amanda Gentry, live from the Hillside Medical Game Studios. Fireball Hot Take Friday. Predators get rocked last night by the Edmonton Oilers. I was watching the game, and I was on Twitter at the same time, and I was stunned by how many people were surprised by what happened last night. Even yesterday when you were doing the Caesar Sportsbook report and you were talking about taking the Predators over Edmonton, I almost kind of like looked at you like, yo, this is Edmonton.
I know that it's Edmonton, and I know that it's Connor McDavid, and I know that it's Draisaitl. I thought, like, going into that game, like, okay, the Predators are so safe if they win this game, and I would feel so much better about the Predators. I think it was more so like my own hope that they would win big, just knowing how much safer I personally would feel about the Predators' playoff spot if they did win that game.
So I'm just at this reality that the Predators can't play with the fast teams. So, like, the Predators, if they get matched into a series with Edmonton, they're going to lose. That's why they can't play with Colorado. That's why they can't play. Like, if they get matched up with some of these Eastern Conference teams like Toronto, they're screwed. They can't play with them. They never have. They never will. They cannot play with the fast teams. And Edmonton is the one team that comes in here every time it feels like and just skates right by them. So I wasn't surprised. But it was a bad loss. 4-0. They really never put up any real offensive fight. 2 games in a row, they've had a goal taken off the board for being offsides, which goes back to Crispy's point that he was making subtly yesterday on the show, which was get the guy in the front of the play the puck. Because if you got guys waiting at the blue line, somebody's going to go across. Anywho, they didn't play very well. And John Hines, who was all smiles after they won that 1-0 game in overtime against San Jose the other day, took to the podium. And I actually watched his press conference when they sent the press conference out after it was over. I watched the press conference because I wondered how Hines was going to react to this butt thumping. This was Hines' first answer yesterday, and I thought, oh, here we go.
Now, what did you make of this for the night? It just seemed like you guys never really found it from start to finish.
Yeah, I think we got to get ready for Chicago. I think we got to get mentally, physically, and emotionally ready to respond to the performance that we had tonight.
I'm like, oh, God, here we go. Oh, here we go. He's not going to talk about this game. He's so mad about this game, he's not going to talk about this game. He don't want to talk about this game. He's not going to talk about this game. This was Will, who works here at 102.5. Will cut this up. Here was John Hines last night. Just all of his answers basically pinned together.
Yeah, I think we got to get ready for Chicago. We need to make sure we have that rectified for Chicago. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. We got a big game on Saturday. Really looking forward to see our team respond on Saturday. Yeah, we got a big game on Saturday, and we got to regroup and we got to make sure that there's the right response to tonight's performance on Saturday. Well, I think the big thing is on Saturday you have a team coming in. They got some star power, and I think the big thing is as I said, I think the total focus now is making sure that we're getting ourselves ready to respond the right way on Saturday. And our job as coaches is to look at the areas tonight that we're deficient and talk as a group tomorrow of how those can be better on Saturday.
I mean, that's all he wants to talk about is Saturday. Doesn't want to talk about this game.
I don't really blame him.
Well, I mean, he's the coach.
I don't blame him for wanting to move past that game. He is the coach and he has to respond to questions about the game, but I don't blame him for wanting to put that game in.
All I could think about when I was watching that press conference was the press conference that we all go back to when somebody does this one.
Well, you think having a 37-year-old...
We're on to Cincinnati. It's nothing about the past, nothing about the future. Right now we're preparing for Cincinnati.
Okay, do you feel like the talent you have here is good enough?
We're getting ready for Cincinnati.
What is your responsibility? I'm just asking, do you think you've done enough to help Tom Brady?
We're getting ready for Cincinnati.
I mean, so I guess Belichick talked after the game they got smoked in 2014 against the Chiefs. And then on Monday when he had his he talked after the game, and then when he had his Monday press conference, they wanted to ask about the game, which is usually what the Monday press conference is for, because coaches will on a Sunday say, I got to watch the film. You got to ask me after I watch the film. And then they watch the film, and then they meet on Monday, and it kind of wraps that up or whatever. And Bill was wanting no part of that, so we're on to Cincinnati. And then they ended up in the Super Bowl that year. We're on to Seattle, and they won the Super Bowl, and so it became a thing. John Hines is not Bill Belichick. But I get it. I understand why Hines was doing this, but it still bothered me a little bit, and I'm going to tell you why it bothered me. Do you know why it bothered me before I tell you?
I don't know.
Ian, do you know why it bothered me before I tell you?
Not exactly.
Because John Hines was all sunshine and rainbows after they won 1-0 against that terrible team in overtime the other day, and I felt like all he's doing is reacting to the actual score of the game and not necessarily reacting to them doing what he wants them to do. So the Predators lose 2-1. I mean, they lost 4-1, but it was really 2-1 in a hotly contested game against a very good team where Florida scored. The game-winning goal was a beautiful goal. Yossi misses a wide-open net. You were right there neck and neck with one of the best teams in the league on Saturday, and Hines wasn't happy with how they played. Then they are neck and neck, and they barely pull it out in overtime, thanks in large part to the goalie saving everybody's rear end. And Hines on Tuesday is just so happy with how they played. And then yesterday they lose 4-0 against a team that they cannot play their style of hockey against. You cannot forecheck that team like that. Matthias Ekholm was talking yesterday. He was like, yeah, we couldn't really establish our forecheck. That's because you can't forecheck that team like that because they will go past you. And you cannot play your style of hockey because your style of hockey puts you in the penalty box. And when you get into the penalty box against this team, they are going to score. The Predators are not going to beat Edmonton because of the matchup. It's like, in an NCAA tournament, we don't want to play that team. That matchup is not a good matchup. Football, we see all that. Edmonton's not a good matchup for the Predators. And yet Hines is just, it almost, I don't want to say it felt like a tantrum, but it felt like I don't want to talk about the game. I'm going to take my ball and go home. And it's like Bill Belichick throws tantrums, but he's Bill Belichick.
It doesn't make it right.
I never feel like I get a fair assessment of what's going on from John Hines. And I feel like this week has been a pure example of that. On Saturday, he said they played average when they were neck and neck with a really good team. On Tuesday, he was all for their performance. I have to thank our mental appreciation for how we showed up on Tuesday. Mental preparedness. I'm like, You almost lost to the freaking San Jose Sharks, who freaking suck. And then you get beat by a team that's better than you and has one of the best players on the planet.
Faster than you and is bigger than
they're
you.
They're a bad matchup for the Predators. They always have been. Leon Draisaitl has come into this building and scored like 800 goals. And it's just, I don't want to talk about it. Like, dude, you need to address it. Like, it needs to be addressed because you got to make the playoffs now. And so I don't know. I just don't like it. And there's not like a huge reason to not like it. But I don't like it. I don't like the message. I don't like I just don't like it. I don't like it. And for some reason, it bothers me.
And I kind of, when you stepped out, what was that, on Wednesday?
Yeah,
I kind of had the same thing with Elijah. I broke it down and I said, am I irrational for being more upset about John Hines' post-game comments than I am about the play on the ice? And he said, yeah, I think you are kind of irrational, but still, I don't think that I was. Because it was incredibly frustrating. Because I feel like whenever you're a Predators fan, you can be super pumped about whatever win, no matter how gross it was. You can be bummed about whatever loss, even if though it was close. But it is the job of the coach to explain, if they won, why was it so close? If you are playing the San Jose Sharks, who are an absolutely atrocious team who have nothing to play for, then why did it take you to go to OT to get a single puck in the net?
Well, I just think that he reacts based upon the result.
And that's what I'm saying is fans can do that.
Right, that's what fans do.
You can get very excited about a win, even if it is against a terrible team in
Kicker
overtime.
Kicker comes out from 45. You know, you're down by 2 points. Kicker comes out from 45. Game on the line, misses wide left the next day. Quarterback sucks. Coach sucks. You know, like the whole fan reality. You know, defense, miss that tackle. If we don't miss that tackle, we win. If we don't this, we don't. Kicker makes a kick. Coach is great. Great comeback. Quarterback let him down. Great kick.
Great game.
Like, it's the same. But, like, the coach can't be that way. The coach can't be that way. And I understand, though, like, Hines was trying to get the guys to not think about this game, trying to think about, hey, like, you can't do anything about that performance. Time to think about, moving on.
And he's not wrong.
I get it. But at the same time,
you need to just move on from that one. You got a big one on Saturday and a big one on Sunday.
At the same time, now look, there was not, let's say this with full disclosure, there was not a bigger crybaby at the podium than Peter. I mean, and I love Peter, but I think I told you this. I may have said this on air. I think after reading the Seth Wickersham book about the Patriots, I am convinced the only difference between Laviolette and Belichick is that Belichick had Tom Brady. So, like, if Laviolette had Sidney Crosby for, 15
like
years.
An elite forward.
Like, and not just an elite forward, but the best.
The elite forward.
Like, if he had that guy for 15 years, would Laviolette have won 4 cups? I think he probably would have. But instead he was in Carolina and he was in Philadelphia and he never had had he had Taves and Kane, who won 3 cups in Chicago, would Peter have won another cup with those guys? But they're so similar. I was joking around. Brooks Bratton, works for the team and asks, not harmful questions a lot of times at the press conference. And I used to love that they would lose a game like last night. But say they, instead of 4-0, it'd be 4-1. They score a meaningless goal in the third period. And Brooks Bratton would ask a question of Laviolette, like, Coach, you guys scored that last goal to give you some momentum in the third period. You think that carries over into Saturday? And Laviolette would just be like, no. And, that would be the whole press conference. That would be Laviolette. Like, Adam Vingan, Peter, what did you think about spending time in the penalty box? Wasn't very good. That was Peter. And so I love Peter. Here I am getting on John Hines about his, I think about Saturday. He's like, put his hands over his, Saturday. And for some reason, I just didn't like it. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. But Saturday is a big one. Saturday, they better win tomorrow against Chicago. No excuses. That is a no-excuse game, which gives me a topic that I hadn't even thought about, but I do want to talk about at some point about how that is absolutely no excuses for tomorrow's game. 615-737-1025. Corey Curtis, News 2. The Indianapolis Colts have signed Stefan Gilmore. How much does that swing the pendulum in the South? We'll ask Corey Curtis about that next. Tickets for the Big Machine Music City Grand Prix on August 5th through the 7th are on sale now. 1025 The Game has your chance to win 3-day passes to the Big Machine Music City Grand Prix. Just text the word RACE, R-A-C-E, to the Game Nashville text line at 615-737-1025 and get qualified to win. More details on the Big Machine Music City Grand Prix can be found at musiccitygp.com.
Hey, this is Andrew Allegretta, voice of the Vandy Boys. Listen to the Commodore Hour every Monday at 6 p.m. during the baseball season. Kevin Ingram and I talk with Coach Corbin and special guests on ESPN 94.9 and streaming on the VU Commodores mobile app.
Gear up at Northern Tool and Equipment this week for their huge pressure washer sale. Save hundreds on their best-selling pressure washers and accessories. Shop in-store or northerntool.com.
This segment of ESPN 102.5 The Game is brought to you by Train Heating and Cooling Systems. Tested, retested, engineered, and re-engineered to keep up with you. We run together. Visit traininfo.com to find your local independent Train dealer. Traininfo.com. It's hard to stop a train.
Spring has sprung, which means it's time to renew your home with Social Furniture. It's their Spring Fling sale, where all furniture is up to 50% off. That's right, up to 50% off on top name brands such as Serta, Sealy, Simmons, Caracol, Bernhardt, and Woodhouse. At Social Furniture, you'll find new bedroom furniture, mattresses, and sofas, all up to 50% off. Spring into Social Furniture today on Charlotte Avenue in West Nashville. Shop local, shop social. Social Furniture is a proud supporter of your Nashville Predators.
Genesis Diamond's most anticipated event of the year is coming next weekend, April 22nd through 24th. Huge store-wide savings, plus thousands of new, unique designs from the biggest names in jewelry. All new collections, 2 years in the making, from names like Tacori, Verragio, and more. Rings, earrings, pendants, bands, many never seen before, and all specially priced for this 3-day event. Save up to 35%, zero interest financing. Bring your old jewelry and trade up. April 22nd through 24th, only at Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills, and Cool Springs.
Spring is in the air, and that means all kinds of fun in the sun is just around the corner. But if you're feeling low energy, if you've put on weight and just aren't getting the gains from your workouts, if you aren't sleeping well and your libido isn't what it used to be, maybe you aren't looking forward so much to sunny days and shirtless weather. This is Kim for the Tennessee Men's Clinic, and if this sounds like you, we might very well have the answer, because you may very well be suffering from low testosterone. And that, my friend, is something that can be effectively treated to get you back to the guy you used to be. The Tennessee Men's Clinic has treated thousands of men for low T. Our treatment programs are highly effective, with most men seeing results in just a few weeks. Assuming you're like most guys, you'll sleep better, have better workouts, have higher energy, and your sex life might just improve as well. So give us a call. Just $99 gets you a PSA and T-test and a medical consult. Call 615-208-9090. That's 615-208-9090. Or go to TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. Visit our website to learn more, including side effects. Treatments extra. Results vary.
Driving happy with Febreze car.
You're driving home when, oh no, you hit the longest red light in town. What's this? You're smiling because your car smells amazing. You just installed a Febreze car vent clip. Ha ha! 5 weeks ago, with up to 40 days of consistent Febreze scent, those lights can stay red for as long as they'd like.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
Interact with Stillman and Company. Call or text the show at 615-737-1025. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
Well, Hot Take Friday on a Good Friday, rolling along here on Stillman and Company. Let me tell all the fine folks, show us your bad Easter photos, from pastel overload to horrible bunny costumes. We want to see it all. You can win a family 4-pack of tickets to a Nashville Sounds home game and the grand prize of a 2-night stay at the Gaylord Opryland Hotel with access to their fabulous Soundwaves water park. Submit photos now at thegamenashville.com/Easter to enter. The Indianapolis Colts have signed Stefan Gilmore. 2 years, $24 million according to Adam Schefter, 14 plus, I think, guaranteed. So really, essentially, seems like a 1-year deal to go and play corner. Now, he replaces Rock Ya-Sin, who for years I have called Rock Ya-Suck. But he's not really the Colts kind of corner. But now they've got him. They've got Matt Ryan. They've got Yannick Ngakoue. The sportsbooks say the Titans and the Colts are dead even. Corey Curtis joins us. News 2, as he always does on a Fireball Hot Take Friday. Corey, who is the favorite in the AFC South today?
I will still go with the Titans because, look, the Colts could sign the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man from Ghostbusters, and the NFL would say, oh, this pushes the Colts over the top. It doesn't matter. How old's Stefan Gilmore now? 32?
31.
31. I mean, he's not improving at this point in his career. I'm not saying he's a bad player at this point of his career, but he's not improving at this point of his career. Is he a good NFL player? Absolutely he is. Does he put the Colts over the top? No, I don't think so. They still need work in some other areas, and I have to see how good Matt Ryan is at this point of his career as well. Like, I don't think it makes him worse, but I don't think, like, if they're slated for 9.5 wins, I don't think signing him puts the Colts at 10 or 10.5.
So here's my thing with Gilmore that is, I think I can argue both sides of this. They played a playoff game in 2020 of the 2019 season, and he shut A.J. down. A.J. had 1 catch for 4 yards on a bubble screen, and I wonder if Indianapolis is doing this because of that game, and they're saying, okay, Rock Ya-Sin got torched last year by A.J. Brown, so let's go sign Stefan Gilmore. I feel like, though, the Stefan Gilmore signing is more Julio Jones to the Titans than it is Julio Jones on the Falcons. And yet I asked a buddy who covers the Patriots. He says Gilmore's not completely washed yet. How much do we factor in the fact that the Colts don't really rely on their corners anyways? They play that zone defense. Gus Bradley's not a great defensive coach. And to your point, Gilmore's kind of old.
Yeah, I mean, well, look, they've lost their defensive coordinator, Matt Eberflus. So, they're gonna try something else. And like I said, it's not that he's totally washed, but let's face it, their owner is like Jerry Jones. He likes big names. And this guy's a big name, and so he's excited about adding him. I'm sure he's touting to the world that the Colts have landed a big name. Big names don't win it, guys. Players win it. And is he still the player that he was when he shut down AJ? I don't know, maybe, but I doubt it. I doubt he's still playing at that high of a level. Because, as I've said, guys, when they get to a point, they don't get better. They get worse. Remember that with Jonathan Joseph?
Sure.
He had nothing left. And I'm not saying Stefan Gilmore is there. I'm just saying he's headed in that direction on the clock, all right? And so I agree with your Julio Jones to the Titans signing. I think that's probably more of the pathway that this signing is. I would agree with that.
The Titans opened their offseason program, Corey, on Monday. And I have asked if Ryan Tannehill will be speaking, and I think there's an expectation if he's there that he might. Ryan Tannehill has not spoken to the media since the Bengals game. He chose to not speak to the media on locker cleanout day. We all know the offseason that Tannehill, the speculation surrounding Tannehill, the noise surrounding Tannehill. I'm not going to lie, a lot of that probably came from me. What are your expectations for Tannehill after he didn't take blame for the Bengals loss and didn't talk to reporters afterwards if he does speak on Monday?
That's a good question because I've wondered that myself. I've wondered, will he say that was a mistake or that's what was inferred, or will he try to couch it? I don't know. I mean, he has not been a controversial guy in any way. I mean, he did take a stand during a lot of the human rights and racism and stuff with the NFL. He was social justice. He was very forward on that. And, that wasn't, I will say that probably wasn't the easiest thing because that's not always popular with everybody to be involved in those types of issues.
The vaccine.
What was that?
The vaccine last year.
The vaccine, yeah. That was interesting. He didn't want to talk about it. So we'll see, because look, somebody's going to ask, why he didn't take more of the blame and why he didn't talk the next day. Now, he's never talked on locker cleanout day, as far as I can remember. I know the year he took over from Mariota in 19, he didn't talk on locker cleanout day. And then he didn't talk last year. I don't remember 20. No, we didn't have a locker cleanout day in 2020.
He did talk on Zoom after 2020, though.
Yeah, okay, so he talked on Zoom on 2020. Okay.
But he had a good season that year, so that was,
Yeah, so there you go. And so it's going to be interesting because I think it's safe to say he's going to catch more fire than he's ever caught from here before. And it'll be interesting to see if he's there and how he handles it. To me, and I'll just say me, if I was him, I'd be there with bells on. I mean, I'd be there waiting.
Would you be waiting in the sense, Corey Curtis, News 2's our guest, would you be waiting from an attack standpoint of, you guys say this about me, or would you be waiting there of like, no, I let my team down in the Bengals game, but I've moved forward and we're moving forward, but it was certainly my worst performance, And we can't have that if we expect to compete at this level. We certainly can't have that out of me. Like the remorseful sense, or would it be the attack sense?
No, I would be, I guess, I don't know if remorseful is the right word. Driven would be the word. And I would come in and be, guys, you know what? I made a mistake, when that game was over. I needed to take more ownership of that. It's a team game, but I was one of the reasons that we lost. I let the team down. I can't let that happen. That's why I'm here today. It's day one. I'm here because when we're in that position next year, I'm going to be better. All right. And that's the way I would handle it, of a learning process and of an attack process of, I always believe in getting out in front of stuff like that. I mean, because I always talk about the steroid guys. The guys who took steroids and admitted it got a pass. The guys who went in front of the court and said, I didn't do it, are pariahs to this day. Okay? And so, he's going to get another chance to get out in front of it. And I think the stronger he gets out in front of it, I think the better he's going to look, because there's a lot of fans who are upset about it. And I think for a lot of them, he can win a lot of them back. I think he still has that opportunity.
Corey Curtis, News 2, is our guest. Fireball Hot Take Friday. What's your hot take this week, Corey?
Don't panic. The Preds were awful the other night, but it was 1-9. That's it. Don't panic.
Define panic. Like, I thought they were going to make the playoffs. They lost. I still think they're going to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
But I don't think the Predators have proven anything in the last week. They've played 3 games against 3 playoff teams, and they've lost all 3 of them. And, varying degrees of closeness in all those 3 games. I almost feel like it's pretty inevitable. The Predators are probably looking at one and done in the playoffs.
I see. I'm not going to go that far because I think in a 7-game series, that's what they're built for. I mean, they're built to wear people down. They weren't great the other night.
I think they're worn down.
They might be. And you know what? This long stretch of home games might be a chance for them to get their legs back under them. And that very well could be the case because, Edmonton, who skates well anyway, clearly was faster than they were. But this will give them a chance, I think, to get their legs under them. They've got, 8 games to go? And I think 10 points will probably do it. That'll give them a 99. I think 99 will probably get it done. And then when you get to the playoffs, it's about matchups and how well your goalie plays. And, they're not going to get pushed around. You're not going to see Ryan Ellis get thrown around like a sock monkey in the kids' playroom. It's, or Victor Arvidsson's not going to have, 3 guys banging away at him and knocking him out after 1 or 2 games. I liked both of those guys, but they were targets every year in the postseason. Preds don't have a lot of targets this year. They got a lot of guys who use targets. They got a lot of guys who are heat-seeking missiles. And so I look forward to that and seeing if it works in the playoffs. Look, they could be one and done. Depending on who the matchup is, they could play great and be one and done. If they have the right matchup, they could play okay and move on.
If you own the hockey club, what would you do with Poyle and Hines? Hines' contract's up at the end of the year. They have an option on him. What would you do if they don't make the playoffs with Poyle and Hines?
Wow. I'd have to see why they didn't make the playoffs. But, look, the hockey team is clearly better than it was a year ago and has been trending in the right direction. I'm inclined moving forward with those guys. I think John has made. Which players has John not made better? That's hard to say. Fabro, okay, yeah, that's a whole nother discussion.
Fabro, Tolvanen,
the
young guys.
Yeah, and you know what? Cunnin to me has been the one I expected the most out of this year.
Oh,
I think
stinks
he's the one,
this year.
He's the one I'm most disappointed with because he started pretty well, didn't he?
I think he was good last year, but this year I think he's just stunk.
I expected more from him, and then you see what Jeannot and Trennan have done, and it makes him look worse. But you look at all of the players that have played better under Hines and how much tougher of a team they are to play against. We'll see how it goes. I would be inclined to bring all those guys back because I think, and you would look at David and most of the moves he made, even though some people highly questioned them, were the right moves.
Corey Curtis, News 2, as always, joining us on a Fireball Hot Take Friday. Appreciate you, Corey.
Thank you very much, Jared. Enjoy your holiday weekend.
You too, Corey. Corey Curtis
Thank
joining us on the program, as always. It's a little spicy there with some takes from Corey Curtis. Speaking of spicy takes, there is a spicy take. It's Fireball Hot Take Friday. It's a spicy take. It's not coming from me. It's something that I have thought about, but I hadn't really thought deep about it until somebody brought it to my attention. But it's very interesting, and it involves the Titans, and we'll get to it next. Stillman & Company. It's ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Saturday.
Yossi has shot to score. Romain Yossi.
It's Terry Crisp's celebration weekend as the Predators take on the Chicago Blackhawks. Pregame at 10:30, face-off at 11:30 on Smashville's Best Sports Talk,
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
The 2022 Major League Soccer season is officially here, and Nashville SC's new home, Geodis Park, is nearly complete. Don't miss Nashville SC's home opener May 1st. Secure your season tickets now. Come on and grab a seat at NashvilleSC.com/22ticks.
Realizing Geico's great service and licensed agents are available at your fingertips is like realizing the plastic piece that comes with your pizza isn't a tiny doll table. It's to keep the box from touching the pizza.
Hey, the pizza's stuck to the box. Where's that little plastic thing?
Dolly needed it for her tea party.
It's something that's been right there in front of you all along, like the dedicated Geico claims team available to you in the event of an accident to get you back on the road quickly, or how your smartphone charges faster when you put it on airplane mode.
Wow, what if I put it on rocket mode?
It's something you can't believe you never realized before, like how Geico's industry-leading app lets you pay your bill, file a claim, manage your policy, or summon help when you need it. Or how those holes in your shower caddy are there so you can store your shampoo bottles upside down.
Showers happen fast when you're not waiting on shampoo.
Great service. It's just one of the many reasons to switch to Geico. They're all right there in front of you.
If you snore, it may be a sign of a more serious, possibly life-threatening condition. Most people think of snoring as a nuisance, but it's a much more serious medical condition than you think. Snoring has been associated with chest pain, sleep apnea, high blood pressure, chronic pain, obesity, headaches, and sore throat. Take a listen to what some of our patients are saying about the revolutionary Vivo system.
Right after I started using it, I noticed the results really, especially with the snoring. My sleep apnea episodes are a fraction of what they were before. This product's phenomenal. It changed my life.
I am 100% happy that I did this, and I'm thankful every day that I have it.
If you're curious about our sleep devices, call now for a sleep consultation. Don't let your spouse have to sleep in the guest room, and don't risk the severe health complications of snoring and sleep apnea.
Dr. Kelly Rice is certified to provide the Vivo system to open the airway for a better night's sleep. Call 615-373-4488 or go to BrentwoodSleepApnea.com to see which therapy can work best for you.
Individual results may vary. Always seek the advice of your health provider with any questions regarding a medical condition.
Hey, Robby Stanley here to tell you in the NBA play-in tournament, there are no sure things except one. You can bet at least $20 in same-game parlays on FanDuel Sportsbook, and you'll get an instant bonus, win or lose. That's right. Not only do you get to enjoy the NBA's best, duking it out for the right to advance in the playoffs, but FanDuel's giving all customers a bonus for getting in on the action. Oh, and the more you bet, the bigger your bonus will be. I like the Brooklyn Nets in the play-in game. I like Kevin Durant over on points. I like Kyrie Irving over on assists, but you take it any way you want to take it. FanDuel, an official betting partner of the NBA. The app is safe, easy to use, and you'll get your winnings fast. If you're new to FanDuel Sportsbook, sign up today with promo code ROB to make every moment more. Don't just watch the NBA play-in tournament. Be a part of it. Bet at least $20 in same-game parlays and get an instant bonus, win or lose. You must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable free bets that expire in 7 days. A max bonus of $100. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Got a gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
ESPN's Turon Davenport breaks down the Titans like no other.
On the field chemistry, I don't think it's going to be a problem. It's just going to be a process.
Catch TD Mondays at 11, Thursdays at 3, and Fridays at 8. Plus, the Talking with TD podcast drops every Wednesday.
When you draft players, it's not just for one season, it's for a career.
Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey Nashville, it's Max Kellerman, and you're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
I can't worry
about my competition. Yeah, secretly, we'd like them maybe to stumble, but I got to focus on our business and make sure we're doing the right thing. And then if you do that, good things happen. I mean, I think we had a period of 2 decades that were unbelievable with a salary cap, and we have to find a way to sustain it. And more than anything, it bothers me that we haven't been able to win a playoff game in the last 3 years. And I'm happy that I think we had a great draft last year, and it made up for what happened the previous 4 years or so. And I look forward to hopefully having a great draft this year. That's the only way you can build your team for long-term and consistently, that you have a chance of winning, is having a good draft.
That was Robert Kraft, and a lot of people heard that and thought that was like a missile towards Bill Belichick.
Kind of was.
Well, when the owner says, we haven't won a playoff game in 3 years, he ain't going to fire himself. And the drafts, who's in charge of the drafts? Bill.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, like,
who's in charge of winning games?
I think Bill's the greatest coach of all time. I like Mike Vrabel. I think Mike Vrabel's a good coach. But I think every now and then, like, sometimes you need somebody else to tell you something before you kind of like, oh, okay. You know, like, I guess Tom Brady, like, was not very confident when it came to women, when he was, like, at Michigan and stuff like that, or
now
whatever.
He's married to a supermodel.
And then all of a sudden it was like, now Tara Reid's spending the night, and the next thing you know, all of a sudden Gisele Bundchen's in love with him, and he's like, I guess he, like, 5 years before he met Gisele, 10 years before he met Gisele, he was like at a wedding and this woman wouldn't dance with him when he like asked her to dance with him. And like, so for Brady to be going out with the most beautiful woman in the world, it was like, oh my God, look at how
crazy
changed.
what winning football games can do.
So listen to Boston radio yesterday, Felger and Maz, 98.5 The Sports Hub. And I guess yesterday was Belichick's 70th birthday.
Happy birthday, Bill.
So they were asking the question of whether or not at 70 years old, if Bill can still do it. And they asked the question, who were the better coaches in the NFL than Bill Belichick? Here's what they decided.
Who would I rather take over Bill Belichick? My list has now grown to 2. Mike Vrabel and Sean McVay.
Oh, I got 3.
Who's the third?
McVay, Vrabel, and Andy Reid.
Okay,
just because he's fat and jolly.
To me, but that's, you know, he still says he's a top 3 coach.
I mean, I'm sitting there, I'm like, they think that Mike Vrabel is a better coach than Bill Belichick? Now, throw out the coach of the year thing, because I know people are going to be like, Jared, he's the coach of the year.
Which is a wonderful honor, however.
Coach of the year does not mean best coach, just like MVP does not mean best player. Coach of the year means coach of that year. Kevin Stefanski was the coach of the previous season, and nobody thinks he's a better coach than Bill Belichick, and nobody thinks he's the best coach in the NFL. McVay, I get. You know, I wouldn't put McVay ahead of Belichick, but I get it. You know, McVay has won almost every year he's been with the Rams. He had the guts to make the move on Jared Goff. He won the Super Bowl. He's been to another Super Bowl. He's kind of turned over his roster. I mean, McVay, I get it. Is Mike Vrabel a better coach than Bill Belichick? Like, is this one of these moments where, like, I've never thought about it like this? Like, I mean, I like Vrabel. I think Vrabel's a good coach. I've said that for forever. But is Mike Vrabel a better coach? I mean, like, there's Vrabel's a good coach. I like Vrabel. I'm still going to bust on Vrabel when I think he screws up. That is never going to stop. He knows that. I love him, but he knows that. But is he a better coach than Bill Belichick?
Well, I mean, it would be easy to say, well, Bill Belichick has 6 Super Bowls, so of course he's a better coach than Mike Vrabel.
But he hasn't won a playoff game in 3 years.
Exactly.
But Mike hasn't won a playoff game in 2 years.
And also, I mean, I guess you could look at, you know, what Mike Vrabel was able to do with the roster. And I do think that there is an element of it there, per Diana Rossini. That was my best Diana Rossini impression. Of the fact that in Boston, do they just love Vrabel?
I don't think so.
The player, Vrabel, the guy, Vrabel,
I don't think
and the
so.
player coach.
I think that they're mad. I think everybody there. We were talking about this during the break. David Poyle, like, let's compare David Poyle's accomplishments to Bill Belichick's, right? They've been basically, I think Poyle got here in 98, Belichick got there in 2000. They've basically been there for the same amount of time. The accomplishments are not the same.
No.
Bill has 6 Super Bowls. David's been to 1 Cup final. Like, they're not the same. Here, it's like even if they don't make the playoffs, people are not mad at David, which I don't totally understand. But they're mad at Belichick now. Like, they made the playoffs with a rookie quarterback. Now, they got housed in that playoff game, but they made the playoffs with a rookie quarterback, and nobody gives Bill credit. And the reason is, and you hear Kraft's mad. The owner's mad. The radio hosts are mad. The fans are mad. It's because Tom Brady is having success in Tampa Bay. And they look at Belichick as the reason why Brady's no longer there, even though the Titans brass essentially made the same decision that Belichick made.
But do they view it that way?
The Titan fans don't view it that way.
I mean,
but the Boston people, absolutely they view it as they picked Bill over Brady, and Brady has won and Bill has not.
I'm with you on
Dan
that.
Shaughnessy in the Boston Globe, after Brady beat the Green Bay Packers in the NFC Championship game, the headline was, final score, Tom Brady won, New England Patriots 0. So they blame Bill for that.
And I'm with you there, and they should blame Bill for that. But do they view it in Boston that Mike Vrabel essentially did the same thing as Bill Belichick on passing on Tom Brady?
No.
So I don't think they can really look at it like that would be a notch on Mike Vrabel for passing on Tom Brady.
But do you think that Mike Vrabel is a better coach than Bill Belichick? Around the room, Vrabel or Belichick?
Belichick.
Ian?
I still have to lean Belichick.
See, I'm going Vrabel.
Why?
Because I think that Bill is too far up his own ass. Like, I'll give Bill credit. Bill has always been this way. And you cannot, Floyd told me one time that, like, Bill called him, and Floyd's talked to us on the air, so I can talk about it, that I think this may have been, like, early in Bill's tenure with the Patriots, or maybe even when he was still in Cleveland. And, like, Bill asked Floyd, how do you get control of the doctors? Like, how do you get control of the team doctors?
Yeah.
And Floyd's like, dude, you don't want that. Because if you get control of the doctors and it comes out that you told a doctor to do something, like, you're going to get sued.
That's bad. Yeah.
Like, you can get sued.
You're not a doctor for a reason.
That's bad news. And so Bill's always been this way, and you don't make the decision to go with Brady over Bledsoe if you don't have the I always know what's right in you. But I think Bill just thinks he can do no wrong. And I don't think Bill's sorry that he passed on Brady. I think he trusts his process on it. I think Vrabel stays up at night thinking, what the hell did I do going with Tannehill over Brady? I think the remorse around Brady is stronger here than it is there.
Why do you think that, though?
Because Ryan Tannehill is not Tom Brady. And
Matt Jones is not Tom Brady either.
No, but Cam
Newton wasn't Tom Brady either.
But Bill looks at the process. Bill looks at, we wouldn't have won with Tom last year because of the cap. Whatever, talking about 2 years ago. And then we, this past year, like, we're moving forward with Mac. The process that we went in order to do this, I think he thinks Mac's going to be a good quarterback. I think Mac has the potential to be a good quarterback. But, like, Bill doesn't have an offensive or defensive coordinator right now. The expectation is that Joe Judge and Matt Patricia will be running the offense. And that does not fly with me. Now, look, I got my own problems with Vrabel and his coordinators and his coaching decisions and everything else. But I don't know. I just think at this point, Vrabel's a better coach. I think Vrabel relates to the players better.
He's a players coach for
Vrabel
certain.
motivates the players better. I think Vrabel's strategy, like, maybe not like on an individual play, but I think like Vrabel's ways to try to win games, I think every week, for the most part, I like the plan from Vrabel. And the truth is, he's coached against Belichick 3 times now, and all 3 times, even though he's only 2-1, I think he's out-coached Belichick all 3 times, and that has to mean something. Even the game
they
year,
lost.
This year they lost. They played the way the
Belichick.
Titans wanted to play, but Dontrell Hilliard and Deontay Foreman fumbled the football. And the Titans were so injured and had no receivers in that game, and they wanted to play the run the ball, keep it close, and it came down to a 4th down at the goal line. That's not Vrabel's fault. Now, the play call was terrible, but that goes back to the individual plays, downing and whatever. Those drive me crazy. But I think that Vrabel, like, strategy for a game, right now, I think Vrabel's doing a better job. So I know it's crazy, but, like, right now, I would take Vrabel over Belichick. But I didn't even think about it until I heard that yesterday.
But it's completely on a different level because I don't think that anyone would argue that Bill Belichick probably pumps his tires more than anyone else. He probably thinks that he's the smartest man in whatever room that he is in.
Belichick or Vrabel?
Belichick.
I mean, both.
But exactly. So you're going to say that Belichick his head's too far up his own ass. I'll look at the Bowen situation, for example. Was that really what Mike Vrabel wanted to do? Or did he elevate Bowen because he didn't want to accept defeat, that Bowen wasn't ready for that job?
I would agree, but it worked.
But did it work because they just had some dogs on that defensive line?
Yes, but again, it worked. Like right now, Bill has Joe Judge and Matt Patricia teaching Mac Jones.
What if it works?
It won't.
You don't know that.
You're right, I don't. 615-737-1025. Boston Radio says Vrabel's a better coach than Belichick. Is he? Plus, I mean, are we okay with McVay right now ahead of Belichick? So hold on that. Because there's a couple that I'm saying, like at this point, I'd say they might be a little bit better than Belichick. That's all I'm going to say on that. 615-737-1025. 1025 The Game has your chance to win a pair of tickets to the Arca Menard NASCAR Xfinity Series doubleheader on Saturday, April 23rd, and a pair of tickets to the Geico 500 on Sunday, April 24th. Just submit a picture of you wearing your NASCAR swag using the hashtag Dega to the Game social accounts. Twitter at 1025 The Game, Facebook and Instagram at The Game Nashville.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 News Code Red meteorologist Dan Guthrie. Cloudy skies for us this afternoon and evening. High temperature up to 75 degrees. Storms will roll in tonight, mainly after 10 p.m.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Gear up at Northern Tool and Equipment this week for their huge pressure washer sale. Save hundreds on their best-selling pressure washers and accessories. Shop in-store or northerntool.com.
Family Leisure invites you to vacation at home with a new spa, pool, patio furniture, or wood play gym this summer.
I really want a spa.
40 spas on display from Artesian, Best Spas, and American Select.
Prices starting as low as $29.99.
Family Leisure has over 100 sets of patio furniture with free delivery.
That sounds good to me, too.
We should really look at the wood play gyms for the kids. Family Leisure has the Diamond Point swing set on sale at only $24.99 installed. Family Leisure's vacation at home sale in Franklin and Antioch.
Smokeville Smoke Shop in Hendersonville wants to invite you, your friends, and family to their huge 420 blowout event. Live music, on-site food and dessert trucks, discounts store-wide, and a free dab bar. Smokeville Smoke Shop's 420 event will be held at their flagship store located at 699 West Main Street in Hendersonville on Wednesday, April 20th. Visit them on Instagram at Smokeville Smoke Shop for more event details and to take advantage of additional special offers. Smokeville Smoke Shop for all your smoking needs.
Spring into savings at Electronic Express. Get up to 40% off the latest 4K TVs from Samsung, LG, Sony, Hisense, TCL, and more. That's not all. Get huge savings in every department like computers and gaming, smart home, housewares, mattresses, and more. Plus, save up to 40% on all appliances with up to 36 months free financing. Shop in-store or online with free express delivery on most items. Shop locally owned and family operated at Electronic Express. We make it happen.
Cutting the price of your wireless bill feels good, really good. Actually, it feels great. You should try it out. So cut your bill by switching to Straight Talk Wireless, now offering our $45 Silver Unlimited plan with 5 gigabytes of hotspot and nationwide 5G on America's largest, most dependable networks. The $45 Silver Unlimited plan from Straight Talk. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
A month equals 30 days. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Thinking about gas mileage? Keep your engine at its best with clean oil from Pennzoil Platinum Full Synthetic. Got an older vehicle? Use Pennzoil Platinum Full Synthetic High Mileage. Right now, you can get 5 quarts with an STP Extended Life oil filter for only $35.99. Get what you need for better fuel efficiency at any of our 6,000 stores or on AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Darren McFarland.
He's cool. He's got a personality, and they make fun of him.
Willie Donick.
Would this be a fun guy to come to work and hang around with all day?
Chase McCabe.
They're just like, hey, we need you to play yourself.
Darren, Donick, and Chase have you covered weekdays from 10 to 2 on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Stillman and Company is on. Delivered by TriStar Moving.
If you had asked me 2 years ago, I would have said Belichick's the best coach in the league, and there's a Grand Canyon until you get to number 2. The gap between him and number 2, whoever that was at the time, Harbaugh, Reed, Pete Carroll, whoever I put at number 2, I'd say number 2 is not close to Belichick at number 1. That was 2 years ago. 1 year ago, I said, okay, Bill's still number 1, but the McVays of the world, that whole tree is gaining on him. McVay, Shanahan, LaFleur, those guys, they're gaining. The gap is narrowing, and Vrabel's there too. And so Bill's still number 1, but now he's got competition. Now, 2 guys have passed him, and I feel like the arrow's going down.
That was Mike Felger, Boston Sports Radio, 98.5 The Sports Hub. They think Vrabel's a better coach than Belichick. I think Vrabel, it's close, but I'm going to go Vrabel.
I think that your argument against Bill Belichick, you could also make the same argument against Vrabel. I think you look at Vrabel
Here's
being
the difference. The big difference between the two.
The relatability to the players.
The players buy into Vrabel.
Yeah.
Players
and
they
love
don't love,
Vrabel.
they don't, there are players that hate Vrabel. There are guys like Rashard Matthews wanted out of here, and Wesley Woodyard said what he said about Vrabel, and Vrabel can be an arrogant a-hole. I think we all know that.
Yeah.
But I do believe that, the players just buy into whatever he's selling. Now, Vrabel loses way too many winnable games that I'm not sure Belichick loses. That is something that I would at least consider. To me, if you were to rank the coaches or say who's ahead of Belichick, I can't put Andy Reid ahead of Belichick. And I'm going to tell you why I can't put Andy Reid ahead of Belichick. Because Belichick's beaten Andy Reid too many times in too many big games. And because Andy Reid screws up a lot. He screwed up a lot in Philadelphia, and he screwed up a lot in Kansas City with games they should win, and they don't win, and they should have more.
He gets a lot of credit whenever Patrick Mahomes came in.
Sure.
He all of a sudden became an offensive genius.
So,
and I don't think that that's a coincidence.
Well, Andy was an offensive genius. The Chiefs were picking first overall and ended up in the playoffs next year because they had Andy Reid. Andy's an all-timer. But I would still put Belichick ahead of Andy Reid. McVay, you got an argument for. And I don't know how you right now can say that you would take Belichick right now over McVay. Shanahan, I would put over Belichick. I kind of want to put Shanahan over McVay. And here's why. Here's the problem. Shanahan elevates entire rosters. And he elevated the entire Falcons team when he was the offensive coordinator. And yet at the end of the Super Bowl against Brady and the Patriots, he screwed up as an offensive coordinator. At the end of the Super Bowl against Mahomes and the Chiefs, he screwed up as head coach. And even last year in the NFC title game, they had that game won. And he and Jimmy screwed it up. And the Rams won the Super Bowl because Jaquiski Tartt didn't catch the pass, Shanahan screwed up, and more importantly, Jimmy screwed up. And so at the end of the day, you do have to say, McVay beat Shanahan in the biggest game. But Shanahan always beats McVay in every other game. Shanahan goes to the Super Bowl with Jimmy freaking Garoppolo. I've watched enough Jimmy. I don't think people watch a lot of quarterbacks around the NFL that aren't Brady, Rodgers, or your quarterback. Brady, Rodgers, your quarterback, or Dak Prescott. Everybody else, they don't watch a lot of Matt Ryan or Derek Carr or Ryan Tannehill or Kyler Murray, or they don't watch a lot of these guys. So you're not watching a lot of Jimmy. Last year, I watched 7 Jimmy games. I watched Jimmy play the Colts because it was the Colts. I watched Jimmy play the Titans because it was the Titans. I watched Jimmy play Cincinnati because I watched that game before the Titans played the Bengals. I watched Jimmy play Dallas in the playoffs. I watched Jimmy play Green Bay. I watched Jimmy play San Francisco or LA in the title game. Jimmy was awful in all those games. And Shanahan's still getting to the Super Bowl with this bum as his quarterback. And is getting to the NFC Championship game. I think Shanahan, but then again, he screwed up with Matt Ryan. So it's so hard to pick.
And let us not forget that the 49ers could have beaten the Rams in that NFC Championship game.
They smoked them. Smoked them earlier in the regular season on Monday Night Football.
3 names I'll throw at you because I made a list of some potential coaches, maybe not necessarily better than Belichick, but some that I think you can make an argument for.
Okay.
Because Shanahan, Andy Reid, and McVay were all on my list. Mike Tomlin.
No. No. The Steelers are always so undisciplined. They win games, but they're not a disciplined team.
McDermott.
See, I think McDermott
I don't think he gets a lot of credit.
is the most disrespected coach in the NFL.
I don't think he gets a lot of credit
Because Buffalo stunk, and he and Brandon Beane got there. I think Brandon Beane's the best general manager in the NFL. I give more credit to Beane than I do McDermott, but you got to give McDermott credit. I certainly think McDermott's disrespected. I certainly think Belichick's better coach than McDermott.
Pete Carroll.
No, Pete's. Like, they might fire Pete. That's right now, Belichick or McVay.
Or Shanahan.
For you, Belichick or McVay?
Probably McVay.
Ian.
Which were the two now?
Belichick or McVay?
I don't know. I think I kind of like McVay.
Okay. Vrabel or McVay right now?
Ooh, this is difficult.
And remember, Vrabel kicked McVay's ass earlier this year.
Yeah.
And that was with Ryan Tannehill throwing the ball right to Jalen Ramsey.
The
week that Derrick Henry got hurt.
I still have to go McVay.
See, Vrabel completely outcoached McVay in that game. Remember how Chris Collinsworth kept pointing out on the broadcast that it took L.A. until like the fourth quarter to realize that they had to move Stafford around because he was just standing back there and the pass rush was getting to him, and then he was freaking out and throwing interceptions. And like they didn't learn. And by the time it was too late, the Titans were starting to ice the game. They had that trick play where Tannehill ran into the end zone for a touchdown. They had the pick six, the other one that was essentially a pick six. I mean,
that's a tough one.
They've only faced off once, and Vrabel got the better of McVay.
It's a tough one.
Ian, McVay or Vrabel?
I might just be. This might be a faulty thought on my part, but I would prefer a head coach who calls his own plays on offense.
Really?
Only because with the turnover for a professional, like if you have a good OC
Sure.
and the turnover, like if you're the head coach, you don't have to worry about trying to find a new play caller.
Right, like
good point.
What if they could never pick up the pieces from Arthur Smith leaving?
Right.
So in that way, that might just be a faulty narrative on my part, but that would probably lean me maybe slightly McVay.
You know what's crazy is I was reading about Mike Holmgren, and Mike Holmgren was part of the Bill Walsh tree, and the Bill Walsh tree is kind of like the Shanahan tree where all the Bill Walsh guys, whether it's him, Holmgren, Andy Reid, Gruden, all those guys ended up having Mariucci, like they all had like decent coaching careers. And you look at the Shanahan tree, and you got Shanahan's kid, and you have McVay and LaFleur and Zach Taylor, and like all these guys are doing their thing. And like they did like a study, or somebody did a study, and it was looking at the coaches and how a lot of the coaches that are good coaches are not coordinators. Like everyone wants to take coordinators because coordinator is like the next step to coach, but then a lot of it's good positional coaches. I'm not sure if Vrabel's a great coordinator. Like when Vrabel called the defense, when Dean Pease got sick at Indianapolis, they were terrible. Vrabel's defense with Houston was terrible. Vrabel, when Bowen wasn't technically the DC, they were terrible. But I think Vrabel's a great head coach.
I think that's a good point. You could see that with Tomlin and Harbaugh for sure.
Yeah.
Because they weren't necessarily, I think they were, wide receiver coach and a special teams coach?
Sean Payton was a quarterback coach.
So I
mean,
could see that.
I do think about that a lot.
In Miami.
Zach Taylor was a quarterback coach.
Mike McDaniel.
Well, he was coordinator.
Was he?
Yeah, but I mean, if you're Shanahan's
But
coordinator, what are you
Shanahan
really?
called the plays, I think.
Shanahan is running.
You're
the whole
really a
offense.
quarterback's coach.
Yeah, you're just there. Like that.
You're collecting
like
a
you're
paycheck.
there.
You have
like,
a headset.
You watch film and like give suggestions and like you're there, but you're not really like there. It's Shanahan. I mean, it's tough because I criticize Vrabel all the time. It's tough.
But also, he gets some well-deserved praise from us.
Yeah, I mean, like, we think Vrabel's a good coach.
Yeah, Vrabel is a good coach, and I do think that there is something to say about being a player coach, about relating to the players so well.
615-737-1025 is the phone number. Add that to the kitty, 615-737-1025. Cancel culture is coming after me, which is stunning. I'm kind of stunned by it. We'll get to it. I'll explain it all, and I'll get to it next. Stillman and Company right here on a Good Friday, 615-737-1025. It's a Fireball Hot Take Friday. It's ESPN 1025 The Game.
Your speaker at home is so smart that even Alexa knows where to find Nashville's best sports talk.
102.5 The Game is Nashville's best sports talk.
Ask Alexa to enable 102.5 The Game. Once enabled, ask Alexa to play 102.5 The Game.
Welcome to 102.5 The Game.
We are Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Spring has sprung, which means it's time to renew your home with Social Furniture. It's their Spring Fling sale, where all furniture is up to 50% off. That's right, up to 50% off on top name brands such as Serta, Sealy, Simmons, Caracol, Bernhardt, and Woodhouse. At Social Furniture, you'll find new bedroom furniture, mattresses, and sofas, all up to 50% off. Spring into Social Furniture today on Charlotte Avenue in West Nashville. Shop local, shop social. Social Furniture is a proud supporter of your Nashville Predators.
The racing, the big one, the camping, it's all just bigger at Talladega. And with a doubleheader on Saturday and the premiere of the next-gen cars on Sunday, it's just going to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. NASCAR's biggest and baddest track is back. The Talladega NASCAR Weekend, April 23rd through the 24th. Get your tickets now at TalladagaSuperspeedway.com.
Hey, it's Chase McCabe of Darren, Donick & Chase. I started my radio career as an intern right here at ESPN 102.5 The Game. Now we're looking for our next great batch of interns. You think that's you? Send your resume to together@cromwellmedia.com to apply today.
Houston Clinic Orthopedics wants to thank their patients for voting them the #1 orthopedic practice in the Nashville Scene Poll for 3 years in a row. Their physicians specialize in spine, joint replacement, knee, hip, upper extremity, and other orthopedic conditions. At Houston Clinic Orthopedics, they adhere to all CDC guidelines for the patient's and staff safety. To experience world-class orthopedic care and see a list of all physicians, visit their website at tn.houston.com and book your appointment online today.
You know it's going to happen, and when your car needs service or repair, remember Mitchell's Mr. Transmission on Gallatin Road, just north of Briley Parkway. Now here's Jim Mitchell.
At Mitchell's Mr. Transmission, we also offer free towing with any major repairs. If your vehicle has a breakdown and you should need any type towing, towing is available through Dad's Towing Service. Dad's is a professional towing company in Nashville that provides all types towing and recovery, 24 hours a day.
You know it's going to happen, and when your car needs service or repair, remember Mitchell's Mr. Transmission on Gallatin Road, just north of Briley Parkway.
This week's Nashville's best deal is 312 Pizza Company, serving the best pizza in town, as well as Chicago-style eats like Chicago dogs, Italian beef sandwiches, and more. It's also a great spot to grab a beer and watch your favorite team on the big screen. 312 Pizza Company, 371 Monroe Street in Germantown. Head to thegamenashville.com/deals and get half off a $30 gift card. It's 312 Pizza Company, while supplies last.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne, with Darren, Donick, and Chase middays from 10 to 2. Talk amongst themselves.
It's not a star-studded group. They're not all there.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
a Cromwell media station.
Live from the Game Nashville studios, it's Stillman and Company. Delivered by TriStar Moving. TriStar Movers with 5-star service. With Jared Stillman on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Stillman & Company is delivered by TriStar Moving, ESPN 102.5 The Game. Streaming live on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook Live. Thanks to the law offices of Amanda Gentry. Live from the Hillside Medical Game Studios. Fireball Hot Take Friday. Cancel culture was coming after me yesterday on Twitter. Boy, I tell you, it was crazy. You actually were the one that pointed it out to me, Caroline. You sent me the tweet because somebody sent a tweet to you.
Yeah, somebody tweeted me. I was like, what did I do?
Somebody tweeted you saying they were sorry to you in the station, but it was time to boycott Stillman & Company because they were mad at me.
Yes.
So here's what happened.
Worst person we've had on Nashville radio. Wow.
I get that a lot. So
pretty high accolades.
Here's just to recap. You know, like when you watch TV, last time on, yesterday I woke up and I saw on Twitter pictures of the concession stands at Nashville SC at Geodis Park, and the concession stands were for a hot dog, $6.49 plus tax. So, you add the tax onto that.
So that's like an $8 hot dog.
Yes. What was it? $15.99 for a premium large beer.
$13.49 for chicken fingers and fries.
$4.99 for bottled water. $5.99 for fountain soda pre-tax.
What were fries?
$5.99.
$5.99.
$5.99 for
so
fries.
it's really a steal for the chicken fingers. You're getting those for $7.50.
So, like, we understand price gouging happens at every sporting event, every movie theater, everything. We know that they're not paying, $8 for that popcorn at a movie theater. We understand. But this is even excessive of that. I sent out a tweet yesterday morning when I saw it in which I said that it was absurd and it was disrespectful to the fans, at which I said that they didn't have a lot of. That seems to be the thing that people are hanging on to the most. The end of it saying that Nashville SC didn't have a lot of fans. Now, yesterday, we questioned the validity of their reporting, their own internal reporting, that they have sold 22,000 season tickets for the year. We didn't question it. We didn't openly say that they weren't telling the truth, but we kind of giggled about it, like to the sense that we didn't totally believe it, right? So, like, maybe that was like a little out of line, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Now, let me say this. I'm not sorry about it. So the idea of me sitting there and saying to all these people that are mad, but it's weird because last night I was watching the Preds game, which wasn't much of a game, and so I was just looking through Twitter, and these people were so mad. And I was thinking in my head, I was like, all I did was call out the team. In my opinion, all I did was call out the team for what I find to be excessive concession prices. If they were to turn around and say, okay, we're going to do $4 post-tax bottled water, before the start of the season, and we're going to go from $13.49 for chicken fingers and fries to $11.50 for chicken fingers and fries.
Which is still outrageous, but I understand all concessions are excessive.
But, that would be, I think, a big win for the fans. And I think that would be probably more fair. But the thing that people kept getting worked up about was the thing about talking about Nashville SC fans. And so I guess there's two separate things I want to address. There's the team's angle of this. We read the email on air where I sent an email to the team asking them about the concession prices, and they, at no point in our email exchange, addressed the concessions, but rather they just called me a lazy journalist as opposed to investigating that, and talked about how they have all these fans.
Yeah.
Why? If you got, this is my question, and I mean this with total sincerity. If you guys have all these fans, 22,000 season ticket holders, which is more than Bridgestone Arena holds, then why do you care what I say? Why are people worked up about what I say? If I were to say, the Dallas Cowboys don't have fans.
Well, you're just wrong.
Why? Nobody would
believe you.
Hear. No one would see. So why? Why were the Nashville SC fans so mad at me yesterday? I saw the guy who calls the games on the radio. I've never met this guy in my life. I saw him tweet out something that's like, one local voice gets out there and says that. I mean, I don't know what all the other local voices are saying, but if you were to ask them, hey, what do you think about soccer fandom in this city? Would you think they'd sit there and say, oh my God, it's on fire, you can't even get a ticket? By the way, I went to their website yesterday. You can get lower level season tickets right now. They're on sale for $350.
Which is a great deal.
But I can't believe that they only have 8,000 single game tickets for every game the rest of the season. I saw somebody else tweet out that the get-in price for the second game is $22 on the secondary market or something like that. But again, my big question for the fans that were so mad that vowed on Twitter to boycott this show, that I'm done with this show, which, by the way, is not the first time I've heard this, and it's not going to be the last time I've heard this. But, again, if you're that, I want to know why are they mad? Why are you mad? Let me ask this question. Why are you mad? Are you mad because of the concession stuff? Do you feel like it's a personal attack on your team? That I am saying that you're charging the fans too much for, you're charging the fans too much for concessions And you, the fan, are mad about that. I had a guy tweet at me yesterday whose picture, I could not believe this. His picture was him at a soccer game with Mayor Cooper at the soccer game, and Mayor Cooper's got on like a scarf, and it must have rained because he got on a poncho. And the picture's the guy and Mayor Cooper, and he's tweeting me about how much he hates me. And I'm like, I argued with Mayor Cooper on the radio in favor of the soccer team at that site for that stadium. Like, this was 4 years ago. Like, I was on your side. But my big thing, again, is why? Are you mad because I pointed out the concession thing?
No.
Are you mad because I said that not a lot of people care? And if you're mad, why are you mad about that? That's my question for the fans. Because, and I mean this with total sincerity, like if Nashville SC's already sold out the opening game.
Great.
Which I have a thought about that too.
Okay.
Which is, if I can buy season tickets on the website right now, that would assumedly, that's a word, right?
Sure.
You could assume that would mean that includes the first game, right?
Probably so, but I guess single game tickets are sold out because if, like, let's say somebody wants to buy season tickets, that would assume that first game is in there.
But then the game's not sold out.
It's sold out, I guess. They only have
They
only have 8,000 single game tickets to sell, so I'm sure they sell out pretty quickly since 22,000 of their season ticket holders already bought up the rest of the seats. But I think so. The point that I made yesterday is that Nashville SC is, I don't know if like vulnerable is the right word.
Are you talking about the team or the fans?
The team.
Okay, because I do have some thoughts on the team too. Like I was talking about the fans right there.
Okay, but I'm saying that Nashville SC is such a new team that they need good publicity. They want people to come. They want fans. They want more talk about the team. So I guess that people who are fans of the team understand that, and they think that maybe you broadcasting your thoughts on how nobody has any fans doesn't do any help to grow the team, to grow the popularity of the game.
By the way, can I just say something? That when you refer to a tweet that I sent out as like everybody saw it or everybody's mad or everybody's whatever, and then you talk about what I say on the show, just a you in general to everybody. As a broadcaster, thank you.
Popular.
More importantly, because I understand what you're saying about how the fans feel about, wanting to, be positive about the team.
They want to grow the team, and they feel bullied.
Then there's my thoughts on the team. And my thoughts on the team, again, are this. I'm not sorry for what I said yesterday. I'm not sorry for what I believe today. I'm not. One thing I don't like, and I felt this in their emails to me that the email that I shared on the air, and I mean, I'll whatever. I feel like there's a level with this team where they feel like I owe them respect. And I don't think I owe anything. I don't think I owe anybody respect. Like, this is Nashville, Tennessee, babe. Like, you earn respect. Like, this is not, oh, thank God we got a soccer team. I mean, thank God. Oh, God, there's nothing to do in town. This is not like when I was 6 years old and the Chicago White Sox were the AAA affiliate, or the Nashville Sounds were the AAA affiliate of the White Sox. They'd be watching the game on WG, and they're like, so-and-so was from AAA Nashville. I'm like, oh, my God, they're talking about us. This is not 1996, okay? Like,
times have changed.
Like, if you want to be respected, you've got to earn it. Calling me, who's, I hate to break it to everybody out there, earned everything that I've got on the radio. I mean, everything has been earned. Calling me lazy is not earning my respect. Telling me that we've got all these fans, well, okay, let's see the games. Not game. Let's see the games. If this thing is so popular that we have to start talking about how important Walker Zimmerman is on the back line, we'll do it. There were people in town that didn't believe the Predators mattered. They would talk about, and then when the Predators became the hottest thing in town, all they were doing was talking about catfish on the ice because they didn't really know how to talk hockey at the time, and all we did was just keep on trucking and hit record highs at the time. So, earn it. And my other message for the team, and I think this is a more important message for me to the team, is it sounds like concessions are going to be an issue at the stadium, right? Like that maybe this will decrease the sticker shock of when people go for the first game. But I think had this not been pointed out and not been, brought to everybody's attention by me, I feel like there would have been a lot of people that would have gone to Geodis Park for the first time and be like, holy crap, look at those prices. So we now know that looks like it's going to be a little bit of an issue. Apparently parking is going to be an issue at the stadium.
I mean, what is it, 5,000 spots?
5,000 spots for a reported 22,000 people.
30,000 capacity.
But again, let me say this. You got 15 days to figure it out. So the way I look at it is for the fans, my question is why? Why are you mad at me? If there are so many of you that you are so popular, that you are moving the needle, then it's your opinion, not my opinion, that will drive us to talk about this stuff. Again, I mean, what are we talking about? We're talking about Vrabel and Tannehill and Derrick Henry and the Predators. Like, we don't talk about Vandy because Vandy doesn't move the needle. Vandy, I was telling you earlier today, when I was in high school, Vandy basketball was 1,000 times more popular than the Predators.
Oh, yeah.
It's not. Not anymore. So push the needle, move the needle, do it, and then we won't have a choice but to talk about it. For the team, the message is, why don't you earn respect? Would you earn it? Why don't you do something to earn respect before just demanding it from me? Because you're not going to get it. Like, I do not do that. I do not give respects out as a coupon. I am not Visa. I do not give you credit. You have to earn it. And then you got 15 days. If these are going to be issues, 15 days to figure out the parking, you got 15 days. If the concessions are going to be an issue, you got 15 days. And if everything goes smooth for the first game, then I'll say, hey, everything went smooth. Your thoughts on it. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. 615-737-1025. But, I mean, I'm not going to not stand up for the people. That has been something that we have done the whole time as we've stood up for what we believe in this town. And so I'm not going to not do that. So your reaction to it, 615-737-1025. Plus, the one thing that I hear that maybe I'm out of touch on, I want to get to that next, 615-737-1025. And, I hope they have a good season. I hope they have a good team. There's nothing, there's no animosity about their season or anything like that. Stop by Social Furniture, 5412 Charlotte Avenue in Nashville now, and enter for a chance to win a pair of tickets to see the Predators take on the Chicago Blackhawks at Bridgestone Arena on Saturday, April 16th. Also, don't forget to check out their new sofas while you're there. Must be 18 to enter the contest. No purchase is necessary. Also, catch the Vanderbilt Spring Game tomorrow at 1 o'clock on ESPN 94.9. Stillman and Company, it's ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Every Wednesday at 5, join us for Jared versus Joe as they debate all of the big topics in sports, presented by Parman Tractor and Equipment and Mayweather Boxing and Fitness on ESPN 102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Whether you're looking to purchase a new home or refinance yours, Rocket Mortgage can help you get there. For home loan solutions that fit your life, Rocket can.
When it's more than just your lawn, it deserves the Kubota Z400. Get a head-turning offer on class-leading speed, agility, simple deck height adjustments, and a quality cut. When you need comfort and performance, then you need the professional-grade Kubota Z400. Right now, get the Kubota Z400 mower for 0 down, 0% APR for 36 months, or save $300. Now through June 30th. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
Come see why Coleman Tractor Company is one of the largest Kubota dealers in Middle Tennessee, with 4 locations to serve you in Paris, Clarksville, Nashville, and their new location in White House.
Family Leisure invites you to vacation at home with your family with a new spa, pool, patio furniture, or wood play gym this summer.
I really want a spa.
Family Leisure has 40 spas on display from 3 of the biggest brand names: Artesian, Best Spas, and American Select. Prices starting as low as $29.99.
What about above ground pools?
Family Leisure has hundreds of pools in stock and on sale. Guaranteed installation before Memorial Day, starting as low as $29.99. Install.
Wow, that's great.
If you're looking at a spa, I want some of new patio furniture. Family Leisure has patio furniture from all the big brand names like Hanneman, Woodard, Jensen, and Apricity. There's more than 100 sets on display to choose from with free delivery.
That sounds good to me, too. And maybe a new Sabre infrared grill to go with it?
We really should look at the wood play gym for the kids. Family Leisure has the Diamond Point swing set on sale at only $24.99 installed. It's Family Leisure's Vacation at Home sale going on now at both huge locations, Franklin and Antioch.
At Copper Branch, they live life to the fullest. Food is your energy and your life. Located in the heart of downtown Nashville, their goal is to serve you, your friends, and family quality, great-tasting, plant-based power foods. Visit Copper Branch at 601 Church Street for breakfast, lunch, and dinner with convenient and validated parking during library hours, and download their app for curbside pickup. Or come out for songwriter and live music nights several times throughout the week to empower, energize, and feel your best. Visit Copper Branch today.
This week's Nashville's best deal is 312 Pizza Company, serving the best pizza in town, as well as Chicago-style eats like Chicago dogs, Italian beef sandwiches, and more. It's also a great spot to grab a beer and watch your favorite team on the big screen. 312 Pizza Company, 371 Monroe Street in Germantown. Head to thegamenashville.com/deals and get half off a $30 gift card. It's 312 Pizza Company, while supplies last.
You're the one everyone looks to for answers. Come rain or shine, the job must get done, and you're the one who makes it happen. We get you, Jackie in Fresno, putting your employee safety first. And Manny in Chattanooga, whose local Granger team knows him by name. We're here for you and all the ones who get it done, with 24/7 customer support and access to product specialists to help you find what you need. Call, click Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
If you've missed any of today's show, just search Stillman and Company on Apple, Spotify, or your favorite podcast platform.
Yeah, look, a couple of them jump out at you, and you're like, wow. Now, but at the same time, it's very rare that I go to a game, go to a concessions line anymore, and there isn't at least one thing on the menu where I'm like, really? That's that much? Atlanta, of course, well documented, reduction, but that also went in tandem with like huge PSL numbers. So like if I'm someone who's actually thinking about, okay, do I want to go or not? Take the kids. Do I want to take the kids? Okay, well, I'm going to price out everything. So if I'm Nashville SC, I think I have to compare myself to the Preds. I have to compare myself to the Titans and the Sounds and think about where do we fall into this?
That was Joe this morning talking about the Nashville SC concession prices, which are just, look, the Predators, the Titans, even the Sounds, they're more expensive than, if you were to go into a Walgreens and buy beer or popcorn yourself. We all know
Yes.
that. But they're astronomical. They're crazy expensive.
Expensive for a stadium, and that is saying something.
And that's right. And all I'm doing is standing up saying, I think that's ridiculous. So one of the things that really bothered me, and, Twitter doesn't bother me. People be like, you suck. That doesn't bother me. But one thing that bothers me a lot, I guess I've gotten to the point now where I say something and then people fight with each other based upon something that I said. Right? I'll be like, I think Tannehill, whatever, and then somebody be like, Tannehill's best we've ever had since Steve McNair, but he cost us the Bengals game, and they start arguing with each other.
Yeah.
The amount of people last night that were tweeting me or getting in these Twitter fights involving me that had the line of, that's why you eat before you go to the game. It just turned me off so much. Now, I know the
It's
team
a frustrating argument.
I assume the team doesn't believe that, obviously, because they make all the money off of concessions. They want people to eat at the game. They don't want people to eat, That's why the Sounds, that's why the Sounds built Third and Home, because they want you to go to Third and Home, and then they want you to go to the Sounds.
Right.
And again, I think Sounds got the best business model of minor league sports I think maybe I've ever seen. But there's, am I out of touch, with this idea? Is it a let them eat cake moment from me to sit there and say, when it comes to the just eat at home before the game, just go to a tailgate, just go somewhere? I don't want to do that.
And that is my point also, that Yeah, you can do that. And if that's what you choose to do, if you choose to spend your money on something else rather than, $15 chicken fingers at the game, that's fine. That's totally your choice. But it shouldn't be a necessity in order to go to games. You shouldn't have to take out a second mortgage on your house in order to get a couple beers and hang out at a soccer game.
French fries.
French fries.
$5.99. Pre-tax.
Pre-tax $5.99 French fries. So, yes, that's for sure an option that you have that's available for any game or any event that you go to. But you shouldn't have to feel like you have to do that in order to pay your bills.
I'll give Nashville SC some credit here. I actually think, well, I don't know if I'm going to give them credit, but I actually think the situation they're in is not as bad as it might be interpreted. The situation of the public angst regarding this. Their issue's not with me. You know what I mean?
No.
It is, but it's not. It's the fact that the prices got out there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And
I don't think they wanted that.
I don't think they wanted that. I don't think they want people talking about 5,000 parking spots for 22,000 ticket holders. You know what I mean? They don't want people talking about that. But it gives you 15 days to fix it.
Fix it.
It gives you 15 days to get it right. And if everybody goes to Geodis Park and has a great time in that first game, and, the concession prices don't rob them blind, because they're lowered a little bit, that's a good sign.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a sign of weakness for them to lower the price of fountain soda from $5.99 pre-tax to sit there and say, you know what? You guys are right. This is better for the fans.
And, we didn't realize that, wow, that is astronomical because we have been so caught up in launching this stadium and doing all of the behind-the-scenes work that thank you so much for pointing that out to us. I don't think that's how it's going to be, but it is astronomical.
No. But that's because they're not mad at me.
No.
That's why everything, whether it was the emails, between me and Nashville SC,
Mm-hmm.
whether it was the Nashville SC people, that are with the team, some of the things that I've heard, that I saw on Twitter, things like that, none of it has to do with the concessions comments.
No.
Remember, because the one thing in the email was, we haven't released our concessions, so you haven't done your research on it. It was about the fans' comment.
But also, if you haven't released them, then how would I research it?
Well, see, that's what I'm thinking is that I'm thinking that those pictures that got out, they may say, well, those aren't really our prices.
We just
were
put those
testing
mock
the
numbers up
and wanted to see.
Even though they're very precise.
Pre-tax. That can be their way, of not admitting that they, not admitting that they realized that they were wrong, because what it ultimately boils down to is the question of, are you trying to take advantage of your fans? Right? If they were to say, okay, fountain soda, what's fountain soda at a Titans game? I don't even know.
Probably around the same.
Probably about
$4 or
$5 after tax.
Uh-huh.
If they said, okay, fountain soda is, fountain soda is $5, period.
You get
as
to
opposed
keep the cup.
$5.99 pre-tax, right? Let's say that's, if they were to do that, it would look like they were trying to take advantage of the fans, got caught, and then they, didn't want to admit that they were trying to take advantage of the fans.
Or they could phrase it differently.
But
we're doing this for you.
But the reality is, just get it right. You got 15 days. The parking spaces. If Ian Ayre said, in the Fox 17 article, which, Ian Ayre didn't say anything to me when I asked about the concessions or invited Ian on the show yesterday. But Ian Ayre said in the Fox 17 article that they got another $2,500 for single game passes. Then they got all these other lots that'll be available. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. I don't know. $5,000 for $22,000 doesn't sound like it's going to work. And if parking's a big deal now with people. Figuring out how to park, what to do. Maybe
it's enough to make me not want to go somewhere.
Yeah, it's a big deal. You got 15 days. You got 15 days, and all those acres of land that the city gave to you as part of bringing the team, get it figured out. Let's get your phones on it next. 615-737-1025 will go to you. Because it's a Fireball Hot Take Friday. 615-737-1025 here on the program. Just wanted to address the things that came out of yesterday's show. And, that's kind of is what it is. 615-737-1025. Seltzerland is turning Nashville into a hard seltzer paradise on Saturday, April 30th at the Riverside Golf Links. Enjoy this one-of-a-kind immersive experience as you spend the day tasting over 100 unique hard seltzers. Indulge in mouth-watering munchies, tons of seltzer swag, and bust out the gram for the most Insta-worthy moments. Seltzerland has rounded up the best hard seltzer brands in the land for one epic day dedicated to the bubbly brew everyone can't get enough of. Go to theGameNashville.com/contest to enter for your chance to win tickets to Seltzerland. Stillman and Company, it's ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Hey, this is Phil Forsberg. And this is Smashville.
Forsberg a shot, broken up in front, give it back to Forsberg, and here come the Habs.
You're listening to the flagship of the Nashville Predators radio network, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Victory Award-winning New Amsterdam Vodka knows all about it, but in life, it's not always so clear. So New Amsterdam Vodka believes that in life, you've got to find your own wins. You've got to overcome your fears, go all in, even when you've got nothing at all. Find your wins. And when you do, raise that glass of New Amsterdam Vodka in victory. You've earned it. New Amsterdam Spirits Company, Modesto, California.
Bill Burr, Slight Return.
If I've learned anything in 5 years of being married is we're always working on me.
From his Netflix specials and F is for Family, Bill Burr, Slight Return. Friday, April 22nd, Bridgestone Arena.
Evidently, my wife is this completed work under museum glass that is to be admired and studied. And I'm like one of these guys, you know those buildings that just has scaffolding around it for like 6 straight years?
Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Bill Burr, live.
What if you could be debt-free in 3 weeks? Hey, Willie Donick here. My friends at Loan Pronto are helping people do it every day. It's Loan Pronto's Debt Consolidation Home Refi, wiping out tens of thousands in credit card debt. Listen, your home's value is way up. You can refinance now, take money out to pay off all your credit cards, eliminate PMI charges, pay off personal loans, or other high-interest debt. One local couple had over $50,000 in credit card debt. Loan Pronto did a debt consolidation refi. And even though their mortgage rate went up a tad, they cut their monthly payments by $900. Why pay 20% interest when you can consolidate it to one low payment with a mortgage APR in the threes? Homeowners who do it save an average of $800 a month. Do it now and even skip your next house payment altogether. That's what I call financial freedom. Call Loan Pronto now. 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780 or loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781, subject to lender approval.
Genesis Diamond's spectacular spring extravaganza is coming. April 22nd through 24th. 3 incredible days of store-wide savings. Up to 35% off engagement rings, earrings, bracelets, wedding bands, plus special financing. Even Genesis GIA certified diamonds are marked down. Plus, top jewelry designers are flying in with all new amazing designs. If you're popping the question soon or just looking for some new sparkle, you can't miss this annual event. Save up to $10,000 on some items. It's April 22nd through 24th and only at Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. See store for details.
In the NBA play-in tournament, there are no sure things except one. Bet at least $20 in same-game parlays on FanDuel Sportsbook, and you'll get an instant bonus, win or lose. Joe Rexrode here to let you know, not only do you get to enjoy the NBA's best duking it out for the right to advance to the playoffs, but FanDuel's giving all customers a bonus for getting in on the action. Oh, and the more you bet, the bigger your bonus. I think the 8-seed Clippers look really good to advance. Of course, there's so many different things you can do. Same game parlays. Check that popular same game parlays tab on FanDuel. That's one that we've pre-assembled. A lot of fans can get in on that and really do well. FanDuel is an official partner of the NBA. The app is safe. It's easy to use. Trust me there. And you get your winnings fast. If you're new to FanDuel, sign up today with promo code Joe102 and make every moment more. Don't just watch the NBA play-in tournament. Be a part of it. Bet at least $20 in same-game parlays and get an instant bonus, win or lose. You must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. Bonus issued is now available with free bets that expire in 7 days. Max bonus $100. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line. 800-899-789.
Sunday night. Hi, it's Denny Hamlin, Kurt Busch, Kyle Larson.
The Bristol Dirt Race is underway.
The stars of the NASCAR Cup Series will be slinging dirt at Bristol on Easter night for the Food City Dirt Race. Coverage begins at 5
on ESPN
94.9 and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, Nashville, it's Mike Greenberg, and you're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
And I don't begrudge teams for wanting to tap into, suites and luxury seating and luxury offerings that are going to, for people who just have unlimited funds. Yeah, you want to tap into that, but I think it's also really important. You see some college football programs, for example, more and more it's club seating, it's suites. This is the priority. Smaller stadiums, more of that, right? But then you also have these programs with like the family 4-pack. You get 4 hot dogs and 4 pops, and all this stuff for like whatever it is, $200, something like that. Like, so there's a lot to it. You need to really think in terms of that. And I honestly, my biggest concern for Geodis Park, which I'm very excited to see, I'm very excited to buy tickets soon and go with my family, is the parking situation.
There you go. That was Joe this morning. Thoughts to the phones.
To the phones.
615-737-1025. We got loaded lines. Phone lines are driven by WilsonCountyHunter.com. David is up next on Nashville. SC's been waiting patiently. Go ahead, David.
Hey, Jared. This is a situation to me with Nashville SC being so new, and I feel like any media is good media, and I've never heard SC talked about so much. For the last 2 days, y'all been going about it. So it may not be the narrative they want, but it's an interesting story, and I think that eventually it's a good thing that it's even being talked about on Nashville Sports Talk Radio.
Yeah, I don't think that's the case. Thank you for your call, David. I don't think that's the case with this.
The whole argument of like there's no publicity that's bad publicity, I don't think necessarily applies.
Yeah, I mean, do you really want an afternoon show that's as popular as this afternoon show, sitting there talking about how, well, they're probably not going to have enough parking spots for everybody out there, so don't buy, like the way that they look at it. I'm not telling people not to buy tickets. Do whatever you want. Apparently, they've sold enough of them. Doesn't matter what I say.
I mean, the stadium looks beautiful. I'm sure games are a
No.
blast.
We don't have to kiss butt on this.
I'm not. I'm just speaking my opinion because I've seen pictures and it does look beautiful.
But if I owned the team, like, I would not like hearing the idea of these prices are too high, the parking's too hard, the PR director said that in an email. I wouldn't want it. That's bad publicity.
Well, then fix it.
I told you got 15
Get more
days.
parking spots.
You got
lower
15
concession
days.
prices. I mean, don't just throw your hands up and say we're mad at Jared Stillman for pointing out the fact that our beer is $30.
I was looking back at the emails that were sent yesterday between me and the team, and I was thinking about, like, one of them was, like, the person in the email. Like, it almost felt like a text conversation more than it felt like an email conversation. Or at least from my vantage point, like, I was emailing.
Because it was so sassy?
Well,
Were you just pounding the keyboard in anger?
No, I mean, I was doing it
Or
on my
maybe
phone.
from the other side?
But I kind of felt like the responses, like one of them was just kind of along the lines of like, that's the problem with journalism these days, is people that are just given a platform to, and it's like.
It did feel very fake newsy.
I wasn't given any platform. I earned the platform. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, that's what talk show hosts do. Welcome to the big leagues. Like that's the way that I feel about all that. Let's go to Matt, who's up next. Thank you for calling the show. Go ahead, Matt.
Jared, guys, thanks for taking my call. I appreciate it. Speaking of advocacy, maybe you guys want to advocate for these small businesses. These are very small vendors, pizza places, taco places that have maybe a food truck or one location somewhere. And you got to understand, I looked into it myself. The hospitality company wants $50,000 up front, and then 40% of the sales that come off of each product that you sell. That's why your prices are so high. It stinks. I hate it. I paid $15 for barbecue and 2 sides last night at the Preds game, but that's the cost of doing business. And, I respect everybody's position.
You know what's crazy about that? Thank you for your call. What's crazy about that is I don't have a problem with that. Like the charging a food truck. Like I understand food trucks are like small businesses. You know, people that are trying to make it that are. And the fact that in order to be a food truck at Nashville SC, according to this guy, they want $50,000 and they want part of the sale. I don't have a problem with that. Like if you have a food truck, you're going to sell way more than you would sell if you weren't. I mean, they're drawing the people for you.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get the free people. You know what I mean? Like that's like us advertising on the radio. Hey, go to Bobby Joe's. It's like that's not free. You know what I mean? Like, we want people to go to Bobby Joe's.
I understand this is a business.
Yes.
People have bills to pay. I fully understand that.
Yes. I don't have a problem with that.
And also, to the caller's point, $15 for barbecue and 2 sides at a Preds game, that's not outrageous.
What is it? Go to Martin's or Edley's. What is barbecue and 2 sides at Edley's?
Probably along the same lines.
Okay. So, but
that I'm saying, like, That's not bad, but I feel like let's put that at Geodis Park, that you're looking at a $24 plate.
Well, that's 18. Well, I don't want.
I don't know. I'm speculating, but I'm like $15 for barbecue and 2 sides. Isn't too bad.
Ryan is up next here on Stillman and Company. Thank you for calling. Go ahead, Ryan.
Hey, Jared. I just wanted to say that I mainly agree with you. I'm a season ticket holder, and for the most part, I thought the prices were pretty reasonable. So I feel like them charging a pretty steep price for concessions is probably a way for Ingram and the guys to probably recoup some of the money for footing the bill for the stadium. Appreciate you taking my call, and thanks.
Yeah, okay, so how do you feel about that? Like, I looked it up yesterday. The prices for season tickets at Nashville SC are incredibly inexpensive.
Yes.
And so, like, that, like, yesterday we joked about, like, do they really have 22,000? Because I don't feel, now again, the games haven't happened. And maybe when the games do happen, people will be blowing my phone up, like, can you get tickets to the game? And I'll have to be like, I'm the last person who will be able to get you tickets to the game. But I don't feel that kind of buzz. But then I looked at it, and the tickets are so inexpensive for this year. Like, I think season tickets to Nashville SC might be the cheapest season tickets in town, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so then you would say, okay, do you charge more on the back end with concessions? Like, can I say the answer to that? No. Like, I personally don't believe in that. Now, they can do whatever they want. I mean, it's a business. It's not NashvilleSC.org. But if the idea is, hey, we're going to charge the hell out of you once you're in the building, it still feels
a little manipulative.
You know what bothers me, though, about this? We spent all day yesterday talking about the prices.
Uh-huh.
Today, people want to talk about the prices. My bigger issue is, like, the treatment, of the fans, or the fans that were mad at us yesterday, saying that they didn't have a lot of fans and them getting really mad about it. And it's like, I asked the question, why are you so mad? And nobody's answering that question. And I think it's because the people that are mad don't want to admit why they're mad.
But even so, let's say if you're a diehard Nashville SC fan, why do you care if someone says that your team doesn't have a lot of fans? Is that just like a personal pride that you have in your team, that you don't want someone to disrespect the team that you love? I mean, I don't know.
I think it's the who's doing the disrespecting.
I think that there's a good bit of that too.
And it's the acknowledgement that by admitting who's doing the disrespecting is getting under your skin, that it feels like those people think that I'm letting them, like they're letting me feel like I won. And I just want you to know something. I already know it's under your skin. That doesn't affect me one way or another. I think there's also probably some realization of me saying, why are you mad? Like, who cares what I think about that? And which there's probably a little bit of realization that's like, who does care what he thinks?
And I do think that there are a lot of people out there that have their mind made up about you, and whatever you have to say, they're not going to like.
That's true. I think that I think Robby put it out there that Adam Vingan had like 3 percentage differences about the Predators making the playoffs. And it was like 81, 85, 91 or something. And Robby was like, Preds Twitter, 5%. I'm like, maybe because I've just said they're going to make the playoffs so much that Preds Twitter has gone the other way. And so they think that they're not going to make the playoffs because I'm so convinced that they're going to make the playoffs, and they're so conditioned to thinking the opposite of whatever I think.
And if there is one message that I have gotten from Preds Twitter, it's that they don't like when you root for the team because they think the opposite always happens.
I got to say, I haven't heard much from Preds Twitter lately. I'm a little surprised by that.
Oh, bummer.
Cam is up next on the parking. Thank you for calling. Go ahead, Cam.
Hey, guys, I was just calling in. I'm super pumped about the new soccer team, as I think a lot of Nashville cats are. And I guess I'm just my one question about it all is we got this brand new team coming to town, and I think everybody's excited. And I feel like you guys are putting a little bit of a bad taste in everybody's mouth. I'm not sure. I mean, I'm not trying to be, stomp on your ground or anything like that.
Let me ask you this question, Cam. What do we owe them? What do we owe them?
Yeah, but they're a brand new team, so it's like,
they're not a brand new team. They played 2 years at Nissan Stadium. What do we owe Nashville SC? And why do we owe a Nashville SC?
Well, I don't think we owe them anything, but, I mean, you're talking about the discrepancy of like $1.50, right?
I mean, that's pre-tax. Add the tax. It's probably around $2.50, $3. Yeah.
I mean, but at the same time, we're paying $4.50 for gas, so it's like, everything's kind of inflated.
Sure, but I'm not an economist. Like, I'm not sitting here telling you. I know what prices cost at the Titans and the Predators, and what do we owe Nashville SC to give them a free pass to charge more than the Titans and the Predators?
Well, I don't know, because I don't think that necessarily. I mean, we might. Who knows? We might see Titans prices go up next year.
Okay, now that's an assumption. That's an assumption that has no backing. Like, you're just saying that as like a false, a possibility. I appreciate your call, Cam. Here's the thing that I'm getting at with this is how I think a lot of people feel, and this is how I think the team feels, and this is what pisses me off. And it is the sense of, let people be excited, Jared. Let the people be excited. Don't make a big deal about $5.99 pre-tax fountain soda or the fact that the parking spots, they have 5,000 parking spots for 22,000 people. Let them be excited. It's the start of the season. Here we go. And my thing to that is, I don't owe you that.
But also, if you want to be excited, be excited. Don't
let
me
knock
burst
yourself
your bubble.
out. But, I don't – look, it's going to be a great first game. People are going to be glad they went to the first game. I still remember going to the first Titans game. It was great. But I don't owe them that. That's not my job. My job is not city cheerleader. I don't know if you've heard me talk about the other teams, but that's not my job. The way I look at it is, I understand you want it all to be sunshine and rainbows. But I'm not I'm a first guesser. We laid into the Titans when they didn't open up the gates for the U.S. men's soccer game in 2015. We ripped them a new one. And so, this is not – and we never got correspondence from the Titans like what we got yesterday. But, that's not – I don't owe Nashville SC that. If anything – and I'm going to tell you why this really bothers me. And I'm going to give you an example of it. We'll do that coming up next. Where I feel like – if anything, and maybe I'm out of line for thinking this. I'll let you decide, and I'll let you, all the callers and fans and texters and everything else decide. I feel like maybe I'm owed a little something. I'll explain why. We'll do that next. 615-737-1025. Stillman and Company. It's ESPN 1025 The Game.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 Code Red meteorologist Greg Bobus. Overnight tonight, rain moving in. Scattered showers and a few isolated thunderstorms can't be ruled out. That takes us midnight through about 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. Your Saturday afternoon, mainly cloudy. High temperatures in the middle 60s.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Looking to save money? With DriveWise from Allstate, the safer you drive, the more you can save. At Allstate, better protection costs a whole lot less. Visit allstate.com or call an agent for a quote today.
Listen to Stillman and Company with me, Caroline Fenton, all season long on ESPN 1025 The Game for your chance to win Nashville Sounds tickets courtesy of 312 Pizza Company in Germantown.
ESPN 1025 The Game and Smokeville Smoke Shop want to send you to an upcoming Nashville Predators home game. All you have to do is come into Smokeville Smoke Shop at 699 West Main Street in Hendersonville Wednesday, April 20th for their 420 blowout event and visit the game table to enter. While you're at it, be sure to stick around and take advantage of Smokeville Smoke Shop's store-wide discounts, free dab bar, as well as on-site food and dessert trucks and live music. Visit Smokeville Smoke Shop on Instagram for more.
Willie Donick here for Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville. Proud to announce that they have won the Top Gun Award for the best Pella sales organization in the U.S. They have the best culture, best customer satisfaction, and best growth in the business. To celebrate, Pella is offering their amazingly affordable products at 0% financing with no payments for 12 months. Do you need new doors or windows? I suggest you shop with Nashville's Pella experts at Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville. Go to PellaofNashville.com.
Attention veterans of Middle Tennessee. Little Guys Movers wants to put your hard-earned skills and leadership talent to work with your very own Little Guys Movers franchise. Be your own boss and build a team with standards as high as your own, and all while serving your community with the same hustle that you served your country. Use your existing 401k to invest in yourself. Financing options are available. Start a fulfilling, profitable new chapter of your life as a member of a team with 30-plus years of growth and good times at LittleGuysFranchise.com. That's LittleGuysFranchise.com.
The Ainsworth Nashville has been bringing a sophisticated twist to the classic All-American sports bar, restaurant, and private event experience in Midtown since 2018. Our multi-purpose venue consists of a full-scale restaurant, bar and lounge, and event space. Come for the wings, stay for our happy hour, and visit us for brunch on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. We've got the good times to keep you singing all night long. The Ainsworth Nashville. Burgers, cocktails, sports.
Visit the Ainsworth at 206 21st Avenue South in Nashville or online at theainsworth.com.
Hey, it's Elijah Campbell from Darren, Donick, and Chase, and I got my radio start right here as an intern at ESPN 1025 The Game. It was an excellent experience, and we're now looking for new interns. If you think that's you, go ahead and send your resume over to together@cromwellmedia.com to apply.
Darren McFarland.
That should get you in the mood for a game tonight.
Willie Donick.
I think between 5.5 and 6 is probably in the ballpark.
Chase McCabe.
Typically, I like to take the most difficult task and do it first.
Darren, Donick, and Chase have you covered weekdays from 10 to 2 on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
This is Stillman and Company. Delivered by TriStar Moving.
But didn't the Titans get a great deal when they came here? And we said, do it, Titans, because we knew how great the Titans were going to be. And the Titans have been even better for Nashville than we thought.
Well, yes, but of the $290 million cost of the stadium, about the cost of this park, ticket holders put up half of it. It was located in the right place. You had cultural benefits out of it. You are talking about 250 million Americans every weekend talking about Tennessee. Somewhere in their conversation or reviewing habits, they're talking about Tennessee. That's just an incalculable economic development benefit. And I challenge anybody in this building to tell me more than 4 names of MLS teams.
Okay,
now that may change.
DC United, hold on. DC United, New York Red Bulls, Atlanta United.
All right, that's one.
That's
Who
3.
else?
Chicago
Now
Fire.
We got to get somebody
I got
downstairs.
4 right there. Chicago
Okay.
Fire.
Okay.
I got.
Okay.
Okay.
But
good.
you could do every NFL franchise for sure.
And
like
I'll
that.
tell you, and we will. I believe in soccer here. That was then Metro Council member at large John Cooper in with Jared and the GM in August of 2018. And you heard right there, Mayor Cooper, before he was mayor, was trying to keep the stadium from being built. That is a well-known fact, right, Ian?
Well, at least consider other options of places to build.
He did. He just wanted like more discussion, more whatever, more. And I listened back to the interview. There are some good points that he made that I dismissed because I was so pro soccer at the time. This is the one thing that I think the team owes me. The team and its fans. I fought for you to get a team. It may not have mattered. It may not have been anything. That was the lead guy who is trying to stop the process, which the MLS had accepted, which the team wanted, and which John Cooper's beef was giving a rich guy a bunch of land to build a stadium and build all kinds of other stuff around and basically giving $300 million in free land to a rich person to get more rich. And I was for it because that was what the MLS had approved, and I wanted us to have an MLS team. And I fought for it. And that's the one thing that I feel like with all of this that I don't want to say I feel disrespected, but I certainly think, I talk about, who owes what, who this, what. This is the one thing I feel like they owe me is I fought for this team to be a team. They can talk to me about, people are given platforms. Well, guess what? I used this platform to argue in your favor when you were telling people, go to the Metro Council meeting to support the vote today. I was using this platform in favor of you. And I couldn't have given 2 poops about soccer then, and I don't really give 2 poops now. But guess what? I knew it would be important for the city, and I fought for you. So when I hear all this crap, especially from them directly, about how I'm lazy and how I don't research the issues or things like that, I'm like, whoa. Have some respect for before you were even a team who was helping make this a reality. Do you think that I am fair? Am I fair to feel that way?
Yes, I do think that you're fair to feel that way because, you care so much about this radio show, so to put real estate about the team and to take time on this show to discuss and campaign for a team.
We don't waste segments
It
on this
means something. It means something. But I do think that there's maybe a little bit of recency bias here. That they may say, okay, well, they may look at it like,
you haven't interviewed Walker Zimmerman lately.
Right. You don't talk about a Nashville SC on your show. We could have come here with or without you. I don't know if that's the truth or not, but they may think that.
I don't know if it is or it isn't. I don't know.
They may think, okay, well, then why'd you put all that hard work into getting the team here, and then now you're just going to break it down?
Because I want you to treat people right. Because I want you to treat the fans with respect. I don't want you to price gouge the fans. And the one thing that I don't want, I'm glad everybody have a good time. Do your thing. Knock yourself. Do it. Enjoy soccer. Go to the games. Have fun. But I'm not going to sit here and see a potential cataclysmic disaster with parking and not just ignore it and say that I don't care. And I'm certainly not going to sit here and get people as worked up as it feels like got worked up yesterday and then be treated as if the platform doesn't matter when we use this exact same platform to help ensure that we had a team. We had Mayor Barry on when she was the mayor. We had Mayor Briley on when he was the mayor. We had Metro Council member Cooper on the air. He actually had a great line in there that I thought about cutting and playing that I kind of laughed at, where, it's easier when you're not the coach to talk about the coach messing up. And then when you are the coach, it's harder to whatever.
Yeah.
So when Mayor Cooper was Metro Council member at large and clearly had his eye on eventually becoming mayor, he was talking about how the city negotiators aren't very good. And he had a line in there where he was like, we don't have Floyd Reese negotiating for us. And then I was like, well, maybe we should hire Floyd. And then they all, he's like, we should hire Floyd to negotiate for the city. And of course, Floyd gave that old man pawpaw laugh that we heard there in that little chuckle in that clip. But I'm just saying, there's a part of me that feels like you guys can say whatever you want, but don't forget about who helped you get here. Don't forget about who was supporting along the way. Don't forget about who was there when they announced Team MLS. Don't forget about who challenged John Cooper when he wanted to stop staying from Mabel. Don't forget all those things. What do we have in our text line?
One texter texts in and says, I honestly could care less about Nashville SC, but regarding the parking, the 5,000 spots, do you think that they're taking into account that most cars will contain at least 2 to 3 ticket holders, therefore not requiring as many spots as seats?
So I was talking about this with my dad yesterday. The discrepancy is still out of this world.
And even still, that's a pretty large assumption.
I
you
don't
should be
build
able
buildings.
to cater to the people who spent money to come watch your team, and you shouldn't put them at a disservice like that.
I don't build buildings, so I don't know. But don't you assume that, for every 2 people you have in the building, you probably need to have 1 parking spot?
Probably so, at the very least.
So if you've got, a total of 30,000, you need to have 15,000 parking spots.
Minimum.
Not 5.
Yeah.
And not, we got some pay lots and you can Uber the game. That one's not really flying for me. What else we got?
One texter checks in and says, you can eat at home all you want, but as a dad taking a family of 4 with 2 kids, they will still be eating at the game. Soccer isn't important enough to price people out over concession prices. The ones defending it are the ones who will go no matter what.
Yeah, I do think there's going to be a level. Chase brought this up today, and I thought it was a really good point. What's year 2 look like?
Yeah.
Right now the prices are really low. They're going to jack them up for year 2. Hey, did you have a good time the first year? Well, we're raising the prices up,
but then it's
tickets,
high
and then
ticket prices and high concessions. And even still with a fairly new team in year 2 in the stadium, year 4 as a team, you're still a baby.
Look, we almost lost the Predators. People need to understand this. We almost lost the Predators. The Predators didn't have great ownership, and the fans weren't invested. The Predators got new ownership. The fans became more invested. The ownership started investing more. The team started winning. The fans became more invested. Now, the Predators, even when they're not great, are still packing a bunch of fans in there. They're making a lot of money. That's how this should work. And we shall see. Chad Withrow, Outkick 360. We'll get his thoughts on this. Fresh set of eyes. He's a Nashville guy. Been here as long as I have, longer. We'll get Chad Withrow's thoughts on this coming up next. Fireball Cinema Whiskey goes down so smooth and it tastes so great. There is no better way to ignite the night than to do it with ice-cold Fireball Cinema Whiskey. That's right, celebrating. Whether you're celebrating hockey or soccer or the draft or whatever, do it with Fireball Cinema Whiskey. It goes down so smooth, and it tastes so great. Ignite the night. Please do it with Fireball Cinnamon Whiskey. Please do it responsibly and be 21 years or older to enjoy. That's Fireball Cinnamon Whiskey.
the voice of reason.
No, you blew it. That's what happened. It didn't slip away. You blew it.
The voice of the fan.
The officials had let that game get out of control before anything got thrown.
The voice of Nashville sports is your home of Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Bert Kreischer.
I have 2 little girls. Little girls are delicate. You can't just raise it like a boy. A boy you put in the backyard like a dog, it raises itself.
Bert Kreischer, live at the Opry House, April 21st.
Well, I'm at the zoo with my 2 daughters, right? This blind lady comes walking through the zoo. First, I'm like, where does she think she's at? Like, what, does she enjoy the smell of animal poo and the cries of desperation? Like, help, kill me! I'm a monkey on concrete, I want to die!
Don't miss Bert Kreischer. Tickets on sale now at Opry.com.
Finding the right person for the job isn't easy. Just ask someone who hired a lounge singer to be their office receptionist.
Hello, this is Mickey Marquis, and you've reached the office of Doug & Associates. Thank you very much. Catch me Tuesday nights at the Hotel Johnson. Hello?
But if you've got an insurance question, you can always count on your local Geico agent. They can bundle your policies, which could save you hundreds.
Doug & Associates, this is Mickey Marquis. Hello?
For expert help with all your insurance needs, visit geico.com/local today.
And now it's Geico's Motorcycle Rules of the Road. Avoid biking in the rain and never touch another person's bike.
Hey guys, look at these bikes. So shiny. Whoops. I'm gonna leave a note. Oh gosh, there's more.
And the rule to saving on motorcycle insurance is, in 15 minutes, Geico could save you 15% or more.
Parman Tractor and Equipment is your one-stop tractor and equipment solution. And Middle Tennessee's Link Belt and Takeuchi dealer. Rent or purchase a track loader, mini excavator, large excavators for your job site, or something in between. Parman is now hiring and seeking qualified candidates for construction equipment truck drivers, service technicians, and more. Apply at parmantractor.com or call 615-865-7800. Come be an employee owner with the Parman team, your Middle Tennessee Link Belt and Takeuchi dealer.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone, America's #1 brakes destination. We have the pads, rotors, drums, shoes, and brake fluids to improve your stopping power. Right now, save 15% when you get any 2 Duralast rotors with a set of Duralast brake pads. Missing a tool? Ask about our free Loan-A-Tool program and borrow the tools you need to get the job done.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Claim based on data from the MPD Group 2021. Deposit required for Loan-A-Tool.
Hey, it's Chase McCabe of Darren, Donick, and Chase. I started my radio career as an intern right here at ESPN 102.5 The Game. Now we're looking for our next great batch of interns. You think that's you? Send your resume to together@cromwellmedia.com to apply today.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne, Nashville's exclusive home for the Nashville Predators.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Live from the Game Nashville studios, it's Stillman and Company. Delivered by TriStar Moving. TriStar Movers with 5-star service. With Jared Stillman on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Stillman and Company is delivered by TriStar Moving, ESPN 102.5 The Game, streaming live on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook Live. Thanks to the law offices of Amanda Gentry, live from the Hillside Medical Game Studios. Fireball Hot Take Friday. It's a good Friday. Here on the program, again, we're discussing yesterday, the fallout from yesterday. When we discussed the Nashville SC concession prices that were abnormally high compared even to the Titans and the Predators. And then the parking situation, which we've talked about more today. The 5,000 spots for 22,000 people, or I guess 30,000 people if it's a capacity, 22,000 season ticket holders, as they've said. People mad at me for making a comment about the Nashville SC not moving the needle much, and all that on the table. And again, look, if Nashville SC has all these fans, then you guys will prove me wrong, and you can call in and say whatever. As far as the concessions are concerned, I'm just trying to get them more in line with what we're used to, or, for the fans or whatever. But I also don't feel like I owe Nashville SC any respect until they've earned it. Chad Withrow joins us now. Outkick 360 on the program. So, Chad, your thoughts on kind of like the latest here. The concessions came out, at Geodis Park. They look to be very high. People are concerned about parking, and people are mad at me. Your thoughts?
Well, first off, I'm here for you going after a fan base, and I love working up a fan base. So I'm here for all the drama with you and Nashville SC. But what prices are you seeing at Nissan Stadium and Bridgestone Arena that I'm not? Because $6.95, is that what it was for a hot dog?
$6.49 pre-tax.
Okay, it's $6 for a hot dog at Nissan Stadium. It's $8 for a hot dog and fries, I think, at Bridgestone Arena. That's if you're not a season ticket holder. I mean, that's not that big of a difference. I'd understand if it was like a $15 hot dog, but I'm not seeing a huge gap between those three venues.
I mean, the ones that got us, the $5.99 pre-tax fountain soda, the $5.99 pre-tax fries, and the $17 or
$15.99 for a large premium beer.
Yeah, those are the ones that really got us. That you're talking about $17 for a beer.
It's what, 14 or 15 at a Titans game for the large beer, which is 2 beers.
I want to say somebody said that they were like 11 at a Titans, but yes,
that's not right. It's more than, I can guarantee you, it's more than 11. I want to say it's 8 for one beer and 16 for the large beer.
So you don't think these prices are off at all?
I mean, I think concession prices are ridiculous, but I don't see it being that much more at Nashville SC. Look, again, I'm all for you going after a team, but I just don't know that this is the hill to die on with them, because we're talking about $1.50 difference with some of these prices, with tax even, maybe $2. I think concession prices as a whole are absurd, but I also think they're absurd at Bridgestone Arena for Preds games. I think they're absurd at Nissan Stadium for Titans games. I don't think Nashville SC is doing all that much different in terms of concession prices.
Here's my problem with it, though, and that is that, like, if it's $1 or $2 more at Nashville SC than it is at the Titans, or $1 or $2 more or $3 more than it is at the Preds, and it's harder to figure out because of the pre-tax and the everything else at Bridgestone Arena and the Titans is with the tax included. What bothers me about it is, what has Nashville SC done to be able to charge more than even the average price gouging, which all these things are price gouges. Movie theaters are price gouging. But what is Nashville SC? You're going down to the USFL this weekend, right?
Yeah.
Like, the USFL has to get me to care about the USFL. Like, the USFL ain't the NFL. And that's kind of how I feel here with Nashville SC is, they're just, like, expecting to open the gates and say, everybody pay up. And that bothers me.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's two different ways to look at it. And you're right. Look, I mean, the USFL, they're charging $10 a ticket, and you can be there all day and watch games all day, and every kid under 12 gets in free. Mm-hmm. So they are very much taking the approach from a live venue, live game audience that they have to earn your trust and earn your dollar to get there, and they're not charging anything. And I'm pretty sure I'll look at it tomorrow, Jared, just for you. I'll look at the concessions, and I guarantee you they're probably cheaper than Geodis Park at Protective Stadium tomorrow night for the USFL. So I'll definitely be paying attention to that. I think there's two ways to look at it. One is what you're saying, which is valid. That is, okay, you haven't been here that long. You are moving into a brand-new state-of-the-art stadium, which I've not been there, but looks very nice. So there's some pizzazz with that. But you're still a new entity in the city of Nashville. So maybe go with, I don't know, the Atlanta Falcons model. Mm-hmm. And, maybe charge a little bit more for a ticket to go to that nice new stadium, but give insanely low concession prices for that stadium. That's one way to go about it. The other way to look at it is, if you are Nashville SC, you are trying to properly value your own product. And the last thing you want to do is to make it look like you are second-rate or minor league. I'm not a big soccer guy, but Major League Soccer is the preeminent American soccer league. Now, it's like, 14th or 15th in the world in terms of soccer leagues, but it is the Major League Soccer. It is the preeminent American soccer league. So I can understand from an organizational standpoint wanting to treat your product like it is big time, like it is Major League, and price it as such. So I think those are the two different ways to look at it.
How do you feel about the people that got really mad at me that in my tweet yesterday I said that they don't have a lot of fans, which they're saying they've got 22,000 season ticket holders. They probably do. I don't have anything that says that they don't have 22,000 season ticket holders, but I don't feel like talking Nashville SC moves the radio needle.
I mean, look, I think that soccer fans hold a grudge better than anyone else. So those people pissed off at you right now are going to be pissed off at you forever, that you dare to challenge anything in soccer. I'm not a big soccer guy. I've made fun of some things in soccer in the past, and I'm sure those people still hate me also. But, I mean, we have to take them at their word. 2,000 season ticket holders, I think that's great. I mean, that shocks me, that number, quite frankly. I was shocked to see 22,000 season ticket holders. I think the issue that you have is a similar issue that the Preds had to fight for years until they broke through in the playoffs and went on that run to the Stanley Cup. It's one thing to have consistently 17,000, 22,000. What is the capacity? 30,000 for that stadium?
Yes.
Let's say they have 30,000 in year one, consistently go or close to it for every game. I don't think they will. I think that 22,000 base, it'll be a little bit more than that, but that's basically going to be your attendance for every game. But, that's great for in-house attendance, but how many people are going to pay attention on sports talk radio? How many people are going to pay attention on television? How many people are going to follow everything Nashville SC on social media and know what's happening with the club consistently? That's the barrier you have to cross, and that's what's tough. You brought up the USFL, so I'll use that as an example. They're the opposite. They are all TV. This is a made-for-TV product. They really don't care about attendance, ultimately, or who all goes to the games in Birmingham. They know that, look, there's going to be a big audience in week one when it's an NBC Fox simulcast, and there's going to be a big drop-off in week two. The key is to keep that drop-off number in week two throughout the season, where you don't have another big drop-off in week three. That's the challenge for a new league like USFL. I think it's the opposite now for Nashville SC. They're going to have a good crowd in year one at this nice new stadium, but they're going to have to try to find a TV audience locally, and that's a lot harder to do.
So I don't know why I don't care about this that much, but Joe was making a big deal about this as far as Nashville SC was concerned. I guess they have a reported 5,000 parking spots for 22,000 season ticket holders, 30,000 fans for the stadium. They said that they've got another 2,500 for single game passes, so that would be 7,500 parking spots. They also say there's some pay lots and that there's going to be some rideshare locations. Joe was talking a lot about this day being concerned about parking. I'm not sure I really care that much about it, but maybe there's a concern there. Do you have a thought on that?
Yeah, I think so. It's over and I've seen where it's located, kind of in Berry Hill. Is the best way I would describe the neighborhood they're in. Not a lot of parking over there. I mean, I think that the Titans dealt with this early on also when they built the stadium. You know, ingress and egress into and out of a stadium can be an issue that you don't really know how bad it is until it starts. So that could definitely be a problem. It wouldn't be on the top of my list in terms of issues with the stadium or issues with the team being located where they are. But, I mean, it's definitely something to watch. I think we're also just so savvy now, Jared, with how we get to a game that we all, you know, if you're below a certain age, I think you've driven enough or you've taken enough ride shares where you kind of have your plan and you're not overly worried about it. And I think the soccer fan is probably that person of a certain age that is savvy enough to know how to get to and from a game with multiple different routes. So hopefully it won't be a big issue for them.
Chad Withrow is with us, Outkick 360. Nick Saban had some interesting comments that I kind of slammed Dabo for. Saban had similar comments. I want Chad's thoughts on that. We'll do that coming up next. 615-737-1025 here on a Fireball Hot Take Friday. Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Those are my guys. They've taken great care of my home for years, and they will do the same for you. Hiller is giving away free vacations for you and your family this month. With every purchase of a new whole home generator or select new HVAC systems, Hiller is giving you a free week-long vacation. With every purchase of a new tankless water heater, Hiller is giving you a free weekend vacation, and they're giving you a Visa Rewards card to help pay for your gas to get you there. Choose from over 400 Marriott, Wyndham, Hilton, or Hyatt hotel properties and take advantage of this unbelievable deal while you can, because these deals are only available for a limited time. So make sure you schedule today. Visit happyhiller.com for all the details. As always, happy you will be here. The service is free. Hiller, they take great care of my home. They can do the same for you. Proud supporters of the Preds, the Vols, and Vandy. Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Here they come, turn 4.
Hey, it's Chase McCabe. Join me for Chasing Checkers every Sunday morning at 8 as we talk all the big stories in NASCAR, IndyCar, and the motor racing world. We'll also talk to some of the big names in the sport. It's Chasing Checkers, presented by Apple Collision Centers, Bristol Motor Speedway, and the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway on ESPN 102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Winning this award is truly like winning the Super Bowl of car dealer awards for Mercedes-Benz.
Edwin Vickery, General Manager of Mercedes-Benz of Music City.
Culture, eat strategy for lunch. You have to hit on all cylinders to win this award. You can strategize all you want. You got to still have the right tools, and our tools are our people.
Live the dream with 3-time Mercedes-Benz Best of the Best award winner, Mercedes-Benz of Music City. Go to mbofmc.com.
As a mom, you have to plan for everything. But I never planned on my health plan at work costing so much to cover my family. Fortunately, with more than 70 years of experience helping Tennesseans, Farm Bureau health plans help me get family-friendly coverage for a lot less. So I can focus on raising my kids, not my premiums.
Ouch, Mom!
Find out more at fbhp.com. Farm Bureau Health Plans. Plan on us.
Hey, it's Jared from my official sportsbook app, the FanDuel Sportsbook app. This baseball season turned K's into cash and big hits into big wins with FanDuel Sportsbook. Right now, new customers can step up to the plate with a risk-free first bet up to $1,000. Just sign up and place your first bet, and FanDuel will refund you up to $1,000 back in site credit if you don't win. With opening day past us now, you've got a feel for what the season's going to look like, so there's going to be a bunch of great games every day to put your money on. It's great to use the FanDuel Sportsbook app because they have promotions every day. It's a safe and secure app, and you get paid fast. See for yourself why FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook and my official sportsbook app. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app and sign up using the promo code JGM to get started with your risk-free bet up to $1,000. That's promo code JGM. 21 and older in President Tennessee. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable site credit that expires 14 days after receipt and restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line, 1-800-889-9789.
312 Pizza Company is Nashville's authentic Chicago pizzeria, and they're now hiring. Work for a family-owned business and be a part of their incredible team. 312 Pizza Company is hiring for all positions, including host, waitstaff, bartenders, cooks, and more. 312 Pizza Company offers health insurance and paid time off to full-time employees. Contact Kimberly at 615-730-7888 or email at contact@312pizzaco.com. 312 is an equal opportunity employer.
Interact with Stillman and Company. Call or text the show at 615-737-1025. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
Stop by Social Furniture, 5412 Charlotte Avenue in Nashville now, and enter for a chance to win tickets to the Preds take on the Blackhawks tomorrow afternoon. And don't forget to check out their new sofas while you're there. Must be 18 to enter the contest. No purchase is necessary. Chad Withrow, Outkick 360, is our guest on the program. Chad, Nick Saban really disappointed me this week. I ripped on Dabo Swinney over the weekend when Dabo Swinney came out against NIL and the transfer portal, and it was bad for college football, and I don't like it and all this stuff. And now Nick Saban goes on the Rich Eisen show and complains about it and talks about how NIL is basically going to be buying players, which, duh. But I'm disappointed in Nick Saban, maybe because I kind of held out my argument on Dabo was you got to adapt to college football. Nick Saban will adapt. You have to adapt. Here's Nick Saban complaining about it. Chad, is Nick Saban in the wrong And why is Nick Saban so anti-NIL and transfer portal like Dabo?
Well, he's not wrong. I don't think anything he said is wrong. There are going to be problems moving forward with how this needs to be regulated. But it's also Nick Saban is partly mad because Alabama was best at cheating quietly under Nick Saban. And I'm not saying that Nick Saban is offering kids money, but they have a system at Alabama where they were just better than everyone else at it. And look, Alabama's got a lot to offer. You know, if all things were equal, they're going to win out over pretty much every program in America because of Alabama, because of Nick Saban and his success, because of a lot of reasons. Getting guys the NFL. I mean, we can go on down the list. I think what bothers Nick Saban is people can be so upfront about it now, which is very different. And I think when he talks about, you know, what we're doing is we're paying for players to come to our school. We're buying players. That's a direct shot at Jimbo Fisher in Texas A&M. That is a direct shot at the greatest recruiting class in the history of the sport because Alabama is not sitting on oil fields. Texas A&M is. Guess who else is? Texas, who's about to move into the SEC. And Nick Saban sees the writing on the wall and knows that those schools are going to possibly be paying more than Alabama. Now, I also think it's partly a warning to the rest of the conference and the rest of the country that, hey, if this is the way we're going to do it, well, all right. And that's Nick Saban saying, I'm still going to be better than you at this. And we're not going to be outbid for a one. Now, I look at it on, like, the side of Tennessee, for instance. You know, that may be their one shot to get a guy like Nico Iamaleava is to pay for him. If that's the way they get him from not going to Alabama or going to Ohio State or another program that's had more recent success. So that's where it's a good thing for a school like Tennessee because if you're selling everything equally other than playing time, how is Tennessee winning out over Alabama right now? Or, you know, 120 other programs across college football. So there is sort of a leveling of the playing field, fan bases with money.
So my thing with the NIL, we now have a season where it's in the books, but it hasn't picked up into full gear of what it's going to become. Will there be individual problems with it? Sure. But I almost look at it like sports gambling. Are there individual gambling problems that we've had with sports gambling? Sure. But has sports gambling been bad for society? I don't think so. Has legalizing marijuana in Colorado been bad for that state? I don't necessarily think so. Have there probably been some individual incidences that were bad? Probably so. So that's how I feel about NIL. My biggest thing is we should pay the players, and I don't have a problem with it. And if Tennessee wants to buy Nico, and if A&M wants to buy better players, go for it. Now, I agree with you. I think Saban is going to end up getting a war chest and buying a bunch of players. I think Dabo's worried about it because I think he's worried that he's going to be irrelevant in college football with this going forward. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, look, I think college football is much of haves and have not around. I think all that this does is give some other that have a program that truly care a fighting chance to get up there with the truly have versus not. It's also just going to be really, really bad for some Division I programs because they don't have the base, they don't have the might, and they're not going to be very good. Get even less dust by these programs. So, two examples in the SEC. I think Texas A&M and Tennessee are going to rise quickly because they have very involved, engaged, hungry fan bases that are tired of being mediocre to below. And they are going to ante up, and that war chest is already there at Tennessee. It's certainly there at A&M. They're showing they're very good at it early on, and they're going to be a problem for people. There are other programs that just aren't going to be as good at it, and maybe they weren't good in football before. They're going to get even worse. But I think the programs like Alabama, Clemson, Georgia, they're still going to either bid the same amount and win over the player with the same amount of money, or they're going to outbid others. So I don't see any of the dominant players in college football right now being left behind, and I'm including Clemson in that. I think they're going to be fine.
Do you think that this will change college football? One of my biggest things is now that we have a year of this behind us, All I cared about all the time, whenever the argument about paying the players, whether it was because of Johnny Manziel or whatever, would come up, Todd Gurley, whatever, it would come up, I would argue like the paying the players. I'd say, you know what? Like, as long as it doesn't change the game when I sit on the couch and I turn on the TV and I'm watching, Georgia versus South Carolina on a Saturday, as long as it doesn't change that, I don't really care. It didn't change it the first year. Do you think it will change this for the fan experience really at all?
It's going to change it a lot, and here's why. If I ask both you and Caroline, who are your favorite athletes at your respective schools, or who's the favorite player you watch play that you associate with your college, I guarantee it's someone who was there for at least 3 years,
sure,
and probably 4 when you come to the top of the list. These are jerseys now. These guys and these girls go into free agency every year. I don't even look at the class of a player at Tennessee anymore. I couldn't tell you. I don't know what Hendon Hooker is. I don't know what incoming freshmen are half the time because you don't have to bother to look because it's all year to year. They could leave. You could bring in someone else. It doesn't matter. So I think the association with players that you get to know over 2, 3, 4 years, that's out the door for a lot of players in college football now. And from that perspective, it does change the connection you have with your team and the connection you have with players. So I think that part of it, and that's mainly the transfer portal more than anything else. I've already talked to guys who rep players, that players have been very upfront with them that they will go one place now. They may leave the state they're from, go to a school for a lot of money, and then after a year or two, just double dip and get NIL somewhere else, knowing they're going to get even more from their home state school or from somewhere else because they're going to have proven it wherever they went. That's a problem. I mean, I'm all for making money, but that's a problem for college sports and how we watch it and how we respect it and how we want to watch our schools play. So that's one to watch.
Chad Withrow's with us, Outkick 360. Outkick 360 will have their Outkick the Tailgate tomorrow live from the USFL. That's going to be tomorrow on it's Fox and NBC that co-own the league, right?
Yeah, I think Fox owns it, but NBC has a small share. That's why they're streaming. And like Jeff Fisher, by the way, is going to make his debut with the Michigan Panthers on Sunday at noon on USA. So Fox properties and NBC-owned properties will carry the league throughout. But Fox owns the majority of it.
That's good. I'll tell the Reese family they can tune in and cheer against them. I do wonder this question. I am not excited at all for the USFL. I do know I will be watching tomorrow, though. And I'm not going to go out of my way to watch. I just know at some point tomorrow I'm going to be on the couch and there's going to be football and I'm going to watch. And that's how I felt about all these leagues, the AAF, the XFL. I just find myself watching them, and kind of enjoying it. And then after I'm done watching it, I don't think anything of it. What is kind of your expectation of the USFL tomorrow?
I don't know, honestly. I'm kind of going into it open-minded and with no expectation. We're going to interview Moose Johnston, who's the president of USFL, tomorrow on the show. He's going to be with us live. And I saw a quote that he had where he said, our goal is to make it to season 2, to make it to a second season. Jared, I think that they're looking at this very much like a pilot for a sitcom on Fox. They need eyeballs. Sure. That they're very sober-minded about what this is. This is a television product in the spring and summer months where these networks aren't getting great ratings, and they just want to get people watching football because what they've seen is people like football, and people love to watch football. So if they're doing that to any extent, this thing is coming back. It is very much a TV product, and that's how Fox is viewing it. That's how NBC is viewing it. So I think from that respect, they're not trying to challenge the NFL. They're working in conjunction with the NFL. They know it's not going to be the NFL. They know that it's different from that. So I think when you go into it with that mindset, you've got a better chance of success. But to answer your question, I have no clue. I'm almost more excited about getting home and watching the TV broadcast with all the innovations on that broadcast than I am being there in the stadium tomorrow. But it'll be nice to have that perspective as well.
We used to talk about this when Floyd was around, and we used to talk about the idea of the fact that, he felt like the NFL needed to be involved with one of these leagues. that he felt like it was needed, that we needed a spring league like the AAF, the XFL, the USFL to kind of almost be a developmental league because college wasn't bridging that gap as much anymore. And yet the expenses for running a football league are so high. And I kept wondering, the NFL's got a TV channel that after the draft has really nothing to put on TV until training camp. And they've got all their TV partners. Why would the NFL not want to own a part of this and put their money into it to almost prop it up a couple of years and make it a cash cow for them in the spring over the future years? I've never understood that.
Yeah, and I think both leagues, USFL and XFL, are trying to be that for the NFL. But this is different than the years past when it's, we're going to go to compete against the NFL, or we're going to do this and that.
Sure.
I think both are kind of vying for the interest of the NFL. Fox has a nice hand in this because they're such a big partner with the NFL. Mike Pereira is going to be a big part of the officiating with the USFL also. So I'm 100% with you. I think that, NFL Europe was successful from a player development standpoint, and that's in large part because the NFL and the league was involved. So I think it would only benefit the NFL to jump in with USFL, let's say, and say, okay, this is our developmental league. This is another option for kids who don't want to go to school, that don't want to go to college, that they can come out of high school and come play in the USFL if they're good enough. I think it only benefits the NFL if they were to go all in with the USFL.
Chad Withrow with us, Outkick 360. Chad, appreciate it. Have fun tomorrow. Outkick the tailgate live from the USFL, and I am looking forward to watching the games.
You guys got me all the way to Murray County as I'm driving down Interstate 65 into Birmingham. So I appreciate you for that. Always fun joining your show. Thank you.
You got it. Hey, drive safe, Chad. Appreciate you.
Yep. Thanks, guys. See ya.
Chad Withrow joining us on the program. You know what's funny, talking about how, like a pilot television show?
Mm-hmm.
This is a true story. I read this in a book when I was in Minneapolis. Fox. So Warner Brothers was the studio.
Right.
Les Moonves, who would later take over CBS, was running Warner Brothers at the time. He had 2 pilots. He had 2 shows. Fox had the first right of refusal and owned the show to a pilot that Warner Brothers had called Friends Like Us. And all they had to do was pay a cancellation penalty, which meant if the show didn't get picked up, they would owe $150,000 to the actors and everybody else for their time to commit to this project that ultimately didn't get picked up. That make any sense?
Yeah.
Fox didn't want to pay the $150,000. NBC was willing to pay the $150,000. Friends Like Us became Friends.
Paid off.
And just imagine if Fox had bought the NFL and gotten Friends at the same time.
Oh, printing
what
money.
that would have meant.
Printing
I do
money.
wonder, talking to Chad about this, if you're the NFL, wouldn't you want to own a spring league that you really don't have a lot to do with, but you can put it on your network, or you can own the product and include it in your massive billion-dollar television deals that include the NFL? Wouldn't you want a part of that? And yet they have no interest.
I think because in the past they may have seen how these spring football leagues, XFL included, how they failed.
But they don't have any money.
No, they don't.
Like,
and
they go
I
in
fully believe that if COVID never happened, I think that the XFL would still be alive and thriving.
I question that because I don't trust Vince McMahon, but I hear you. I think the thing with this, where this may work, and again, I don't care. I'll probably watch tomorrow.
Yeah.
But I'm not super jazzed up. Where I think this might work is the fact that Fox owns the league. And the
They've
Murdochs,
done it before.
Well, the Murdochs have so much money that they bought the NFL. CBS was paying $250 million for the NFC package. CBS wanted to pay $220 because they weren't making any money on the NFL. Nobody makes any money on the NFL. It's all about around the NFL is where you make your money. Your ratings for the whole fall are added because of the NFL. Your pregame shows, postgame shows, that's where you make your money. The programs you put on after. That's why they always put a new show on after the Super Bowl so they can say it had 800,000 viewers in its first because it got Super Bowl.
People left their TVs on.
Sure. So CBS wanted to pay $220. They were paying $250. Fox paid $400 because they wouldn't be interested in Fox if Fox didn't pay so much money that the NFL couldn't say, like they had to give them a number that they wouldn't say no to. And so Fox gave him $400 million, and Rupert Murdoch said that the reason he did it at the time was, I'm buying a network. At the time, Fox was considered like the WB and UPN, which later, became the CW. That's what Fox was. And then once Fox got the NFL, it became like CBS, NBC, ABC. Mm-hmm. And so they took a huge hit on that. Then the NFL said, okay, well, you have to prove to us that you can broadcast the NFL. We don't want Homer Simpson and Al Bundy doing the football. And so they were like, okay, what do we do to prove that we got real football? Go get John Madden. Picked up the phone, called John Madden, said, how much would it cost? Madden's agent said 10. They said, how about 8? Madden was going to make $2 million at Monday Night Football. They offered $8 million. So Fox paid Madden $8 million to prove that they could do it. And then they just hired everybody from CBS who lost their jobs at CBS when they lost the NFL. They just hired everybody over, except for like Greg Gumbel and Jim Nantz. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. Let's just get back to your glorious phone call. 615-737-1025. We'll do one more segment of that. Join ESPN 1025 The Game for the Music City Celebrity Golf Tournament benefiting Folds of Honor on May 16th at the Hermitage Golf Course. Put your team together and come play with athletes, musicians, and other local celebrities. Sign up at theGameNashville.com/golf.
This is Tanner Janot, and this is Smashville.
And now down the right wing side, Tanner Janot. His shot, he scored! Tanner Janot with a shot!
This is the flagship of the Nashville Predators Radio Network. ESPN 1025, The Game.
Hey guys, it's the new year. Are you still struggling with erectile dysfunction? I've yet to meet anyone that enjoys timing those intimate moments around a pill. Well, now you don't have to. The advanced wave technology at Hillside Medical has been shown by Cambridge University and the Cleveland Clinic to restore and even regrow blood vessels. It can improve circulation and eliminate erectile dysfunction. No pills and no side effects. If you're ready to put a stop to your ED, call us in the next 2 minutes and you'll receive a consultation, assessment, and blood flow ultrasound free, plus a special gift that produces immediate results in the bedroom. You're going to love that. Trust me. This is a $600 value, free to callers now. 615-576-5000. That's 615-576-5000. Guys, get rid of your ED and get that spark back. Call Hillside Medical now to qualify. 615-576-5000.
This segment of ESPN 1025 The Game is brought to you by Train Heating and Cooling Systems. Tested, retested, engineered, and re-engineered to keep up with you. We run together. Visit traininfo.com to find your local independent train dealer. Traininfo.com. It's hard to stop a train.
Realizing Geico is your one-stop shop for all your insurance needs is like realizing you can just toss the whole measuring cup into the washer so it won't get gunked up with laundry detergent.
I guess it doesn't work for coffee mugs, huh?
It's something that's been right in front of you this whole time, like how Geico offers 24/7 emergency roadside service to help you when you need it most. Or how athletic wristbands aren't for your wrists. They're for wiping sweat off your forehead.
Great. So, what are headbands for?
80s night at the dance club. Woo!
It's something you can't believe you never realized before, like how Geico makes it easy to bundle your home and car insurance, with even more ways to save when you add boat, motorcycle, and RV insurance. Or how a pony is its own animal and not just a baby horse.
So, what's a baby pony called?
Getting more ways to save. It's just one of the many reasons to switch to Geico. They're all right there in front of you.
Bring the passion and head to Bridgestone Arena to watch your Nashville Predators against the Chicago Blackhawks on April 16th and St. Louis Blues on April 17th. You do not want to miss these division matchups. Grab your gold and join us in Smashville. Secure your seats today at NashvillePredators.com/tickets. It's time to get loud and proud for some of the biggest games of the season. Smashville is ready to take on the Blackhawks and Blues. Make plans with the Preds at NashvillePredators.com/tickets.
Golf fans, Pro Golf hits Nashville with the PGA Korn Ferry Tour Simmons Bank Open May 5th through the 8th, and you can win a VIP experience for 4 people. Text the word GOLF right now to 615-737-1025 to enter.
Play ball! Mr. White hit high in the air, deep left field, on the track, at the wall, it's gone!
The Nashville Sounds are on the road as they take on the Gwinnett Stripers.
Swing and a strike 3, and the Sounds win.
Coverage begins at 5:50 on your home for the Sounds.
ESPN
94.9 and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, this is Pete Weber. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk. ESPN 102.5 The Game.
If you had asked me 2 years ago, I would have said Belichick's the best coach in the league, and there's a Grand Canyon until you get to number 2. The gap between him and number 2, whoever that was at the time, Harbaugh, Reed, Pete Carroll, whoever I put at number 2, I'd say number 2 is not close to Belichick at number 1. That was 2 years ago. 1 year ago, I said, okay, Bill's still number 1, but the McVays of the world, that whole tree is gaining on him. McVay, Shanahan, LaFleur, those guys, they're gaining. The gap is narrowing, and Vrabel's there too. And so Bill's still number 1, but now he's got competition. Now, 2 guys have passed him, and I feel like the arrow's going down. Who would I rather take over Bill Belichick? My list has now grown to 2. Mike Vrabel and Sean McVay.
Oh, I got 3.
Who's the third?
McVay, Vrabel, and Andy Reid.
Okay,
just because he's fat and jolly.
To me, but that's, he still says he's a top 3 coach.
There you go. That was Boston Radio unanimously saying Mike Vrabel's a better coach than Bill Belichick. I cannot get over that.
But also, how much of that is actually rooted in legitimate feelings and legitimate argument that Mike Vrabel is a better coach than Bill Belichick, and how much of that is they're just salty that Bill Belichick let Tom Brady win?
Well, I would argue it like this: most local radio shows across the country are very pro-local team, right?
Yes.
Okay. In New York, Boston, and Philadelphia, they are not.
No.
They give their teams the business. I'll have to check with Porth about Chicago. I don't listen to a lot of Chicago. And, the other places like Miami and L.A., I just don't think they care enough about sports.
Mm-hmm.
But I got to check with Porth to see how they do it in Chicago. But, again.
I also think they're significantly nicer in Chicago than they are in Boston and
New York, and Philadelphia?
Yeah.
Yeah. Baltimore, Homer Town. Here, too often, Homer Town. This show is based off of that show. Now, we did it differently because Floyd was an expert, and they don't have an expert. So it was kind of the takes and the expert, where they don't have the expert. They just had, takes on takes on takes. But still, for Boston radio, and again, that show is like this show where they, maybe push it a little too far sometimes. The fact that they think that Vrabel is not as good of a coach as Bill Belichick gets me every time. Every single time it gets me. It just gets me a little bit. By the way,
I do wonder how much.
By the way, Ian, did you get Ian's text?
Yeah, that's what I was laughing at.
So Bill Belichick is in Nashville right now.
He's at the Vanderbilt game.
Bill Belichick. Hey, Bill, they just said on Nashville radio that, if somebody sees Bill at the Vandy game, just say this. They talked today on Nashville radio about how Vrabel's a better coach than you. And the 2 hosts on the show said that you were a better coach than Vrabel. But the one guy who was Floyd Reese's ex-partner says that Vrabel's a better coach than you.
Yeah. And we both said that you're just kind of a pain in the ass.
Oh, God.
All 3 of us did.
I love it.
But also, what's Bill's connection to Vanderbilt?
Well, first up, Bill was born at Vanderbilt. So Bill's dad was a coach at Vanderbilt.
So he's from Nashville.
Yes, but they moved when he was 2 because his dad got
But was born in
But
Nashville.
Bill was born in Nashville. That's a big thing that, did you know Bill Belichick was born in Nashville? That's a big thing. Bill's always loved Nashville. I have to be careful with what I say of what I know. But Bill is a
Nashville fan.
Bill is a Nashville fan. There could be a prospect, draft something or another. He took Adam Butler a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
He signed Ralph Webb a couple years ago.
Spring game is tomorrow.
Yeah, but he's not looking at that, is he? He'd be looking at the guys that are not in college. But whatever.
I don't know.
With Belichick, you never know. Honestly, maybe Belichick's just, hanging out. I don't know.
Maybe so.
I don't know.
Beautiful night for baseball.
I was not the one thing that I would say.
Anchor down.
Bill and I have a handful of mutual friends.
Mm-hmm.
I think the one thing that our mutual friends know is that they would not tell me about what their plans with Bill would be.
I think that's probably fair.
Let's get to your phones as promised. 615-737-1025. First, let me tell you, tune in for Sounds Baseball tonight on ESPN 94.9 as the Sounds take on the Gwinnett Stripers, the AAA affiliate of the Braves. Pre-game show with Jeff Him, 5:50. First pitch, 6:05. Sounds Baseball on ESPN 94.9, presented by 312 Pizza Company, Farm Bureau Health Plans, and Spirited Hive. And this weekend, they're playing Gwinnett all weekend long. What do we have in the text line?
Dan in Clarksville texts in and says, I'm almost certain that they have the same prices at Nashville SC games that they do at Nissan Stadium.
That's just not true.
And I don't think it is. I think it might be like, $1 here, $2 there, whatever it may be. And you can split dollars and cents. But my thing I go back to is that's Nissan Stadium where the Titans, an NFL team, play. Nashville SC is very new to this town.
Like Mayor Cooper wasn't wrong when I was talking about, the Titans plan worked out great. This was 2018. And I said to Mayor Cooper when he was Metro Council member at large, Sean Cooper, I was like, the Titans plan was a really good deal for the Titans, a much better deal for the Titans than it was for the city, but we needed the NFL more than the NFL needed us. And Mayor Cooper's whole thing was that's the NFL, not the MLS. He is right about that.
And that's just fact. Like, that is just a fact that people are willing to spend, X amount of dollars on a Titans ticket, and they'll pack that stadium because that's football. That's just the market that's just the city that this is. People are football fans.
We
in this
needed
city.
the NFL.
Yes.
We would be fine without the MLS.
So it's for the MLS or for Nashville SC to charge the same prices at the NFL. Like, I understand Chad's point that, like, if you want to be considered a major league team, like, you're going to have to hold yourself to a certain standard that, like, you have the same prices. But, like, I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, because if you want to be considered a major league team, you're going to have to attract people, and you're going to have to get people to want to come to those games, people who may not necessarily be big diehard soccer fans. So if you want to roll with the big dogs, you're going to have the same fan base as them.
Yeah, I like the audacity to me. Like, you're not getting people to not go to the Titans to go to Nashville SC. A lot of people are Titan fans who go to the Titans who are also going to go to Nashville SC. What you can't do is you can't have someone be here, wait a minute, I pay $3 more here than I do with the Titans for this?
Yeah.
Like, you can't have that.
No.
What's next?
Another texter texts in to the text line and says, if nothing else, they could have actually addressed where the pricing came from when asked. Not so far as to provide profit and loss statements, but at least justify some actions and price points. And that's what you and I talked about yesterday. Like, if Nashville SC had responded and said, thank you so much for reaching out, this is the reasoning behind the prices, or, we're just experimenting with prices, or at least provide a little bit of context, albeit the prices are still outrageous and still too high. A little bit of explanation and a little bit of a peek behind the curtain of the business side of things in Nashville SC would have been appreciated.
So take me out of this. Take my opinion out of this.
Okay.
You saw the email.
I did.
Ian, you saw it, right?
Saw no.
Okay, you heard me read it.
Yes.
Do you think that was a bad decision on their part?
I think it was incredibly rude and out of line. So, yes.
Ian?
Probably should have been done more professional.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the case too, but again, it's a personal attack on me, so I'm biased. So
if I would have received that email, I would have felt incredibly attacked.
Well, I mean, I did feel attacked. But
I think because
I also wasn't surprised.
I think because the email was a little attacking.
Well, I told them that, but then they got mad at me because they said that my tweet was filled with hate.
The tweet, I think that you probably could have removed the part about the fact that they have no fans.
Yeah,
you probably could have taken it. That was a little out of line as well.
But yeah, but it wasn't to me the same level of out of line.
Well, that's easy for you to say.
Do you believe that?
I think that the email was more hostile than your tweet was. I think that you attacked them, so they would attack you.
I just don't feel like I owe them anything. And maybe they don't feel like they owe me anything.
They probably don't. Yeah, they don't think they owe you anything. But the difference,
and Joe brought this up today, which I think was a fair point, is you think, like, let's say, like, I don't feel like I owe them anything. They don't think they owe me anything, which I think is wrong because I helped lobby, I lobbied the powers that be to get the team here.
Mm-hmm.
And how important it was, I don't know. How important it was, maybe they know more than I don't know. But when you send like that response, you're really sending that to the fans. You're like your response to my question is for the fans. The reason that I'm mad about the prices is because of the fans. Like, I don't care that you're charging more for a hot dog. I don't even eat hot dogs. Like, so it's not about me. It's about the fans. And the email tone kind of took the fans out of it. That was kind of my thing there. 615-737-1025. This is a special weekend. Should be for all of us. I'll explain why coming up next. Pro Golf is coming to Nashville this May with the Simmons Bank Open. Text the keyword golf to 615-737-1025 for a chance to win a weekend pass for the event in style, including food and drink, plus a Predators gift bag, including a polo shirt, golf balls, and umbrella. Text golf, GOLF, to 615-737-1025 to enter to win. Stillman & Company, it's ESPN 1025 The Game.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 Code Red meteorologist Greg Bobis. Overnight tonight, rain moving in. Scattered showers and a few isolated thunderstorms can't be ruled out. That takes us midnight through about 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. Your Saturday afternoon, mainly cloudy. High temperatures in the middle 60s.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Spring has sprung, which means it's time to renew your home with Social Furniture. It's their Spring Fling sale, where all furniture is up to 50% off. That's right, up to 50% off on top name brands such as Serta, Sealy, Simmons, Caracol, Bernhardt, and Woodhouse. At Social Furniture, you'll find new bedroom furniture, mattresses, and sofas, all up to 50% off. Spring into Social Furniture today on Charlotte Avenue in West Nashville. Shop local, shop social. Social Furniture is a proud supporter of your Nashville Predators.
Men, what if I told you that now you're able to get testosterone replacement therapy in the comfort of your own home? No more weekly trips to the doctor's office. We come to you 7 days a week, 12 hours a day. Be seen by a licensed medical professional in the privacy and comfort of your own home or office. You decide. Schedule your appointment today at CoolSpringsMDformen.com.
Genesis Diamond's spectacular spring extravaganza is coming April 22nd through 24th. 3 incredible days of store-wide savings. Up to 35% off engagement rings, earrings, bracelets, wedding bands, plus special financing. Even Genesis GIA certified diamonds are marked down. Plus, top jewelry designers are flying in with all new amazing designs. If you're popping the question soon or just looking for some new sparkle, you can't miss this annual event. Save up to $10,000 on some items. It's April 22nd through 24th and only at Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. See store for details.
Trying to find a new home right now is next to impossible. Very little inventory, prices are crazy high, rates are moving up. Here's a better idea. Let my friends at Loan Pronto refinance your current home, turn all that equity you have into cash, and totally transform your house. A new kitchen, new bathroom, a pool. Think about it. Your home value is up. Instead of wasting all that on an overpriced new house, convert that equity into cash for a home makeover. One local couple did it and got $200,000 out. They added new hardwoods, an outdoor living space, a swimming pool with spa and all new cabinets and appliances, plus a home office. Now they have their dream home, and they never had to move. Call Loan Pronto. Ask about their home improvement refi. Give your home a total makeover and do it now. You can even skip your next house payment in the process. Call now, 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780 or loanpronto.com. 615-499-5780. Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval.
Darren McFarland.
And a mulligan that we all look for in golf. Lord knows our game could use it.
Willie Donick.
Outworked and outperformed a lot of other really good players.
Chase McCabe.
I want some sort of trade protection.
Darren, Donick, and Chase have you covered weekdays from 10 to 2 on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
You're listening to Stillman and Company, delivered by TriStar Moving.
And you know what I love now, and I've told you guys this before, Lindsay and I sit in the desk now, and it's coming, but when I look out over during the game, the kids hopping and skipping and jumping, the little ones, and they've got our jerseys on, and Grandpa's behind them, then Mom and Dad are there, and then this generation is there. And I look and say, man, oh man, this is awesome. This is our future. This is our bloodline that we started. Hockey 101's here with 8 people come to it. And 6 would be women, or 14, and 8 would be ladies. And there's still the people that are now here. They come up to the desk now that I'm going to be stepping aside, and they say, "I've been here from day one with you, Crispy." And the phrase I love is not that I've been here since day one. I've been here from day one with you, Crispy and Pete. That's the phrase I enjoy.
That was Crispy yesterday on our show. This is Terry Crisp weekend. This weekend we celebrate the career of the one and only Terry Crisp. Join us tomorrow as the Predators take on the Blackhawks, and the band will be back together right here on the radio. Crispy and Pete Weber will be calling the game, and then they will shift to the TV booth Sunday against the Blues, and Crispy will be honored during the game in a special ceremony. You do not want to miss it. It is breaking my heart. The game is at 5 o'clock on Sunday.
I will be there.
I will be on Sirius XM at 6 o'clock, so I will not be able to be there.
Price to pay
for
for fame, isn't it?
Well, for Crispy's, the big Crispy game. And
I'm very excited.
Yesterday I talked about how much Crispy has meant to me as a fan. I was 8 years old when the Predators started. I watched the games because we had them on cable and there was nothing else to do. The Braves season hadn't started, the Titans season. I wasn't even a Titans fan when the Predators started, but the Titans season was over. The Braves season hadn't started. It's like, what am I going to do during the winter? And I watch Vandy basketball, and then every now and then I watch Preds. And I loved Pete and Crispy. And, so I kind of got to learn the game through them. And then when I got here, it's a true story, was the day that they announced that I'd be joining the radio station. They announced me, Floyd, and Derek Mason would be joining the station at the same time. And it was a Thursday, and it was at Bridgestone Arena. And Crispy was on the show because Crispy being on at 4:30 on Thursdays predates me. Literally that was the first time that I met Floyd, and I met Crispy. It's crazy I met him the same day. But the relationship with Crispy that I have is that of a fan and that of a friend. And I will say that I said this to Crispy yesterday, the exact same guy that Crispy is on the air, on the radio, on TV, calling the games, is the exact same guy he is in real life. And, Crispy's the kind of guy that you can respect. Crispy's the kind of guy who knows the right time and the right place for everything. One of the first years I was covering the team, I was in the locker room during a morning skate, and Pekka was kind of by himself taking his pads off, and Crispy walked in, and Crispy was holding a cup of coffee, and Pekka just, "Hey, Crispy," and Crispy walks right over to Pekka, and you could see them talking, and you could just tell the mutual respect the two had for each other. And every time that, Pekka wasn't playing well, we have Crispy, Pekka's, oh no, Pekka's this guy, Pekka's. The way that you would expect a head coach talking about his quarterback is the way Crispy would talk about Pekka. Crispy has an unbelievable amount of respect. And I don't want to speak for him because he's going to be doing enough speaking this weekend for himself. And he did an extra segment with us to talk about it. There is no doubt in my mind Crispy has an immense amount of respect for the Nashville Predators fans. New, old, day one, became fans last week. And I think to have somebody as accomplished as Crispy that is, and I think we can all learn a lesson from this, and this is something that I think I took from Crispy and from Floyd, to have two people that are as respected and as accomplished as they were, Floyd in the NFL, Crispy in the NHL, and to have them with the personalities and the way that they made everybody feel, and Crispy still makes everybody feel like that everybody has a story about Terry Crisp, about the time I saw Terry Crisp or I was with Terry Crisp. That is the true gift of both those men, and especially of Crispy. And this is a great weekend for Crispy. Crispy is as annoyed as anybody about the spotlight being on him, but he told us yesterday off the air all the grandkids are coming in, the family's coming in to celebrate his career. And I think it's pretty amazing that when you look back at Crispy's career in hockey, he had a good career as a player. Won a Stanley Cup. He was a bottom six guy. He was a tough guy. But he had a great career. He had a great career as a coach. Won the Stanley Cup in Calgary. He, started, I believe, Tampa Bay's franchise. And then to transition to broadcasting. And Fox had the rights for a little bit to the NHL. And he was a part of that. But then to be here and really launch the franchise and to play as big of a role as he did, I just hope everybody understands, how lucky we were for 25 years to have Terry Crisp be a part of our lives and to help build this sport into what it is. There's not a day of entitlement with that man, and I'm going to miss him next season not being a part of the broadcast. Now, he will still be joining us, maybe not every week, but we will jump and get his rear end on the air. But this weekend, it is Terry Crisp weekend, so everybody enjoy it. Have a very safe holiday weekend. And the 6th with Elijah Campbell and Michelle Knezovic is next. We'll see